We are back with our second series of the day here in the Corporate Esports Association Spring Tournament. We're coming through with two undefeated teams. My name's Bull Skunk alongside Mana Class. Oh, and I'm really looking forward to this. Our last series was an absolute banger. This one is looking to be nothing short of another.
Yeah, when you look on paper at these two teams, the results of this season, the players they have on their rosters, there isn't much between them. Like the biggest difference you can find is maybe somewhere in the DPS department, but even there, it's all about who they play and when they play them. This is a high tier match. There's a reason why these teams are 1 and 2, and there's two players in particular that we kind of need to talk about here, Bullskunk. They're the ones that the eyes are going to be on the RTX Rektifiers. It is going to be Napkin. Napkin, the 4K plus hit scan player that is hopefully going to be able to, for them at least, going to be able to carry their team to victory. And on the other side, on the Amazon Fire Force, going to be seeing, well, in my eyes, it's going to be more of the support line that's going to do a lot of work. And
Yeah.
Impact, maybe Caspian, but also maybe the front line and NJ. There's like a lot of more of a close knit top rank coming out from a lot of these players, and their 3,500 that they said as their approximate team SR. They're almost all higher than that, so I'm guessing that's a little bit of a misnomer, but we'll see where they end up with that. But yeah, Napkin really, quote unquote, has to be the carry of their team. And with Hitscan, that's a tricky thing to do nowadays with all those barriers and sustain tools in the way.
And I mean, some days you're on fire. Sometimes you take a minute to warm up. So we'll
Yeah.
see if Napkin is on their game today. They're going to need to be if RTX Rectifiers want to maintain this undefeated streak. I mean, it's our top teams in the tournament and trying to claim the sole #1 spot.
For sure, for sure. Now, going to be seeing what they're going to be bringing out on Busan to start out with. Of course, Busan, very friendly to hit scans a lot of the time, especially if you
Absolutely.
look at downtown and Sanctuary. Those are fairly open maps, longer sight lines, able to stay out of the fight and still get the angles in. When you go to Mecha Base, it's a little trickier. Maybe a Tracer or McCree can work out, but oftentimes we see more of a closer range style coming out of play there. But looks like we're going to be ready to go into the map anytime now, Bullskunk. Once again, Busan. We ended on the map just now. We're going to go straight back into it. It's fresh in our memories, but 2 new teams, 12 new players going to bring us the action.
And we'll get a little bit of a appetizer sample of what these teams have to offer,
Yeah.
with very different geometry between these 3 rounds. We'll get to see some versatility. We'll get to see how strong they are in the brawl, most likely, if we head to Mecha Base. So it's I'm anxious. I'm anxious. I'm ready to get it started. We're starting on downtown. Let's see what our teams roll out with.
So far, it's looking like it's going to be well, because we're on downtown, starting on downtown, it's most likely going to be a more, maybe like a more of a more open rush brawl. Like instead of that closed Zarya Reiner you see all the time, we might see a little bit of Wrecking Ball and maybe even a Winston / Diva coming out. And so far, that does seem what both of these teams are looking forward to. At least more of a double bubble or even a full dive composition. And the Reaper is what stands out to me. That's a bit of the oddball out in this one. It's not as I mean, it's got a bit better with the spread being reduced and the damage being upped again. So he is looking to do a bit more damage at longer ranges, but has to really get in there together with that ball and that Winston to do the proper damage that they want to do. Meanwhile, Napkin, Gandhi, and Gandhi will be staying a bit further away to do their damage and healing. It's going to be all up to Impact and Chickenality to well, not go down to those dies.
I mean, the Brig can kind of hard counter the Reaper a lot of the times, keep him in bay with the flails, stun them as soon as they come out of the Shadow Step. And, well, I mean, Napkin just lands a beautiful headshot onto V. I mean, onto the Tracer. Does get taken down, but it's going to leave NJ in very deep territory. We'll get dismantled, and it's a quick +1 player advantage to RTX as they're going to move on to the objective. Massive Bionade thrown in from Gandhi, and the follow-up is their first control going to RTX Rectifiers.
Rektifiers just on point for this right now. I mean, obviously, you get, first of all, get that first pick off on the Tracer. That gives you a lot more space to work with, especially for your backline. And then after that, Oh, the Winston just is in no man's land, doesn't jump back. Draco is just ready with the shotguns, and you're in so much advantage just from the get-go, because the Widow doesn't provide as much value mid-fight.
No, and Napkin's actually going to go over to the Tracer here on the return. We'll get a little bit of the Tracer duel. NJ moving up top was forced back off. Does build up a decent amount of ult charge. And just kind of waiting for that bubble cooldown to come back before Fire Force can engage. There's the jump. Try to land on the Ana. The sleep doesn't quite land. They're forced to use their bio just to stay alive. But it's bought enough time. Stayed alive long enough for Smanid and... Well, Smanid just picks up a bunch. A couple kills coming through late, but it's still massive advantage. Smanid is just dismantling everybody with this Tesla cannon.
Looking good so far. Venus Flytrap trying to chase down this Winston coming out of his primal, but won't be able to get that final on it. Just gets a few more ult points that they didn't need. Already minefield ready. This could be a great place for the minefield. Just on the point straight away. No, gonna be hacked instead, and actually under a lot of pressure here.
And it's gonna go down. Draco, oh, he's gonna get hit by the EMP, a 3-man EMP. And trying to keep him alive, just managed to pick up 1 with the Primal Rage. Death Blossom eventually comes through and finds 2 as well. So despite the EMP coming in, Rektifiers have managed to weather the storm at least temporarily. Reinforcements dwindled on both sides. Man is gonna win the duel against NJ with a little help from Venus Flytrap.
The EMP came in at a moment where there was a retreating motion coming out from the Rektifier, so they had to chase them down even though they were hacked. And then you generally will not get that follow-up. The hack isn't long enough for that. Now they're in kill advantage. They have the ultimate still to work with. There's nothing they can do on the side of Fire Force.
It's a 3v6 on the point, and Rektifiers have a sound barrier just bolstering mines out to prevent anybody from getting close. Oh, no, that's a sleeping Winston with a lot of pressure on him. The 1,000 health won't be enough to keep you alive in Cape, and Rektifiers take a 100-0 opening round.
Again, we see this happen so often on Control, where one team will start out with a composition and then have to change things up when they lose that first fight. That wasn't exactly, like, that was entirely what happened there, but there was a lot riding on, like, one ult combo. I mean, Spicy only got that one EMP off. You waited for V for Taeyong to maybe do something on the Tracer, but then didn't get a Pulse Bomb elimination. Had to swap over to Reaper. And now they're just going to go over to a more fuller, like a fuller dive. They're going to match up this double dive tank duo. Going to go over for impact on the Moira as well. Much less potential to get that backline out of the way. And they might be able to play more as a team this way, where they are not split up as much. So we'll see if they can get on top of Candy or Polaroid, maybe even on Draco at times. But they really cannot be disrupted by Venus as much as before.
No, the Blackout Brawl comp will put a hurt down on Venus's Wrecking Ball for sure. And I'm looking for the Sombra, looking for Spicy to play a little bit more frontline. We'll see if they choose to do more of the flanker Sombra, get the manual hacks in. But I think with this composition, you want to stay right up front and build up those EMPs as fast as possible. Spice could go and break out with a big dive from Njapi going into the back. They're going to succeed with that. Pick up both supports immediately as V is able to find 3 before it's all said and done. Venus Flytrap forced to just roll on out of there. It's got to pick up a little old charge along the way, but it has to retreat nevertheless.
Definitely does make it out. It's going to be going over straight away for Chickenality to the Lucio. Lucio Moira has been working out. They're able to quick sustain throughout a fight and work out a bit longer, so they get that win. They get to flank in. There's someone behind that point. I think it's the ball, Venus Flytrap. Yeah, there they go. Trying to boop and bop their way around, but it's not enough to really get anything going. And there's a full team presence of Amazon on this point right now.
Yeah, Fire Force gonna drop the Coalescence to start this thing off. Bionade Ed doesn't quite get blocked by the bubble, but I don't know if the follow-up is there. Kill's still going in Fire Force's favor. That's a lot of Fs, and that's a big F in chat for Rektifiers.
Yeah, Rektifiers have to go back to the drawing board and try again. We're going to get a bit of a pause. Might be disconnected from other players, or maybe pause for another reason. It's also possible. Looks like indeed at least a disconnect, maybe a reconnect soon from one of the DPS of the Rektifiers, indeed. I don't
They
know.
had
Like
the ultimate
this,
too. It's unfortunate.
they did. But I mean, it was a tracer, so it wasn't that bad. You get it back really quickly.
Right.
That being said, Napkin, of course, a big strong presence in their team, and they're looking to still try and get back into this. Of course, they'll be respawned with the rest of their team. The fight was already over, so it's not like they're gonna miss. They're gonna have a fight without their DPS there yet.
Right.
But it's still annoying. You know, you kind of want to have that back. That being said, they have a few ultimates coming in the bank. They're not down too many compared to the other side, and especially if they can avoid getting all caught by that EMP, this could be a huge one. But then again, that EMP is hard to dodge at times when Spicy positions well.
Not only that, but Droid is only halfway to a sound barrier. So despite the fact that they're staying really competitive in the ult economy, which is tough to do when you've lost 2 fights in a row, that tends to lead to a massive snowball for the back half of the point percentage. So they've done a really good job of staying up in the ult economy, but with that Lucio not being able to get more than 50%, this next fight could be a real challenge indeed. They need to shut down Spicy quickly. Try to keep them from getting that EMP off.
They really do. And with that reconnect coming in, looks like we're going to be getting back to the fights really quickly. Yeah, I mean, the nano boost in itself can sometimes be a savior throughout throughout the EMP, especially if you have the right target with it. But it all depends on who comes out and who uses what first. Like the order of operation is so important here, like which
Yeah.
team uses which ultimate at which points, because that all determines like whether an ultimate is actually a counter for another one or whether the other way around. Like especially the EMP is like a big linchpin. Like how much does the EMP prevent or counter? That's like the thing. Is it reactive or proactive?
I will say everybody on Rektifiers' team relies on those cooldowns, with the exception of maybe Draco on the soldier. But everybody else is going to be a sit and duck, not going to have jump. So we'll see if the focus fire is there. As 91% towards that big fight-winning ultimate. We're going to get mines out early on the point from Venus. But the rest of Fire Force are kind of pushed forward. Like, they're not really worried about the objective right now. Maybe they should be, because the free flip comes through. Now the Primal, as well as the Self-Destruct, thrown over the top. Primal's going to take out Draco early, as the Death Blossom is invested. Spicy's still holding on to this EMP, and I think they did not use that one proactively enough, Classy. You're talking about being proactive versus reactive, and well, Fire Force were just way too passive on that one, and they lost the fight because of it.
It was a really funny rotation bait. Like they baited Amazon in doing a certain rotation, but then they just get over the thing. We'll see what goes on with that. We're getting like a lot of directions here from our admins right now, which is really fun. We'll get into that later a little bit. Right now, we're gonna go into this fight because it's an engagement, and the EMP is still ready.
And it does eventually come out. Pulse Bomb is going to take down NJ, though. Yeah, the sound barrier was it canceled? It didn't look like it.
It was canceled. Yeah, it was exactly like Polaroid. Sound barrier came out and then it canceled. Spicy Boomman canceled it. It was exactly what you needed. So that was a very good reactive EMP. That's probably what they were waiting for in the last fight. They probably assumed the sound barrier was already there, and it wasn't, but they didn't know that. That's a good catch. It's a really good one. Good catch. And they got it. It was almost instantaneous. That's why it looked like it didn't get canceled, but it was as soon as it came out, EMP triggered. So Spicy holding on to that for a good reason, and now it's 78%. It's one fight territory before this this map gets evened up.
And there's now a sound barrier just free to use for Chickenality. They can push in and get aggressive with this one right at the beginning of the fight. It is immediately going to come out, and that's going to net them a kill on to Smand right out of the gate. With one down, they're looking to focus out the Tracer. They're going to draw Napkin back, and nobody's there to touch the point with the Tracer out of the fight. And we're all tied up on Busan.
And, we talked about a little bit before, the matchup between Spicy and Napkin, the hindquarter rivals, so to speak. It's a fun one. Osiphos actually gets that post 3K after that round ends. It's fun to see it self-destruct. But now we're going to go to that one point where these dive strats, generally speaking, don't work out that well. We're going to see MJ going over to the Reinhardt. Going to be still a lot of similar stuff from the other tanks and DPS and supports, but it's interesting to see how they're going to make that work on this. The way to move around is way more compact. There's not as much open space. If they want to just gatekeep what the Rektifiers want to do, then that Reinhardt is a perfect tool for that with the Reaper, because how can you going to get past that shield?
Venus Flytrap sticking with the ball. Well, it looks like Rektifiers are just going to go over to the walkway. They're not going to take this standard fight up on the high ground. And it's just a bit of a do-si-do all the way around the map for both teams, with Fire Force giving chase. And they said, okay, let's just meet in the middle. On to the point we go. And running into a Sombra and a Reaper is a dangerous endeavor, but Smannon somehow makes it work. He's able to pick a Lucio off, just sacrifice himself in the process. But big boop will also send V into the pit. A lot of damage now absent for Fire Force on this objective, and one by one they're finding themselves losing this fight, though they do manage to get Polaroid as well. And it's a 2v2 left on the engagement here, left on the objective.
Yep.
Spanning
They're gonna
returns.
be able to flip it.
Yeah.
I mean, they flipped it already, so now they're going to flip it back, and as long as this gets stalled out, that's great, because it's exactly what you want to do if you're on the Fire Force. They keep getting, the remake comes in, and their orb kill, and Smonet comes through. This is great. Amazon was basically losing that fight the entire time, but is still holding on to the objective. They're playing the game.
That's the pulse bomb, and then the follow-up kill from Napkin will go a long way. The flip finally coming through for Rektifiers. It's just backing into mines. Jape, that was the sad sight to see. As a fellow Reinhardt player, that hurt. I feel for you, my friend. I feel for you.
It's still counting, though.
Yeah?
Still counting. Yeah, 44%, 45, and then it flips. That's like 2 fight wins out of not winning a fight of worth of percentage. That's great. It's exactly what you want. They didn't use any ultimates either, so they're going to have 4 coming up for the next fight. Yeah, there's ultimates on the other side too, but they're behind. And you again have Spicy ready with that EMP. Going to be looking at a Polaroid saying, I think you have sound barrier. I'm just going to wait until you use it. This is a really good place for Fire Force to be in. They might just repeat the performance of the last map this way.
Nano boost out onto the Reaper. EMP is there, finds both takes, and the Death Blossom counters. Finds 4 Nano Reaper. That's a 5K for Draco. Oh, Syphos denies him the clean ace.
You think you can go for that proactive EMP, and then Draco just says, well, you did that earlier, and then it didn't work, so he's going to show you that again, it doesn't work. You got to wait for us to make a move before you use that EMP. Spice is going to be feeling that one in the morning. Impact will be feeling that one too.
Shatter come down onto Smod. And they're able to take that one out of the fight. So Zepho's the only take left with the sound barrier. Or excuse me, with the self-destruct in there. As a Napkin is going to, now take NJ down after using the pulse bomb, sound barrier, and the mines used from Rektifiers. They're going to dodge Zevos' self-destruct, come back in, and continue to thwart this re-engagement.
78%, as well as that first fight, losing that first fight went for Fire Force. These fights aren't going that well because they're not getting percentage anymore. Spicy nowhere near an EMP, and they need one potentially for this last fight. It could be going, but they have the sound barriers. That's at least a tool they can use.
It's going to be V with the 2 kills to start things off with Death Blossom of their own. Finds the third, and it's just the opening they were looking for. V is able to get into the back and start that fight off very well, and finally Fire Force get a fight win.
It's not a 5K, but it wins you the fight, and it's only 1 ultimate use for it as well. That's great. Now, they'll still, again, they have that sound barrier. Spicy got a little bit closer to an EMP, but still not close enough. Looking for Napkin here. Also for Venus Flytrap, they know exactly where they are. Give that information. The rest of the team rotates. They know where they're coming from, and now they have this chokehold.
Nice. Emmanuel on this one with the sound barrier. Also in bold, and Fire Force is trying to push, and as well as this coalescence. It's just a fight in this small room. This is unusual placement for this fight. That coalescence I thought would have a lot more effect in there. Indeed, Rektifiers agree as they're trying to push out, trying to get onto the objective and fight it out there. The Nano Boost is going to go onto the Winston this time, and they're going to manage to take down V in that process. EMP had come out, but really to minimal impact Polar Droid now, doesn't quite get the sound barrier off. Gets smashed in the face. I believe that got interrupted with the kill, and that could have been it right there. The 99.99, the hammer to Polar Droid's face mid sound barrier will win Fire Force this map, and they'll start off the series 1-0.
Bags of tea are coming out. It's being served. They're going British. And the Fire Force is taking map 1 of what looks to be a long series. We already had a 5-mapper earlier, and this one is potentially no exception. Fire Force takes it away, but Rektifiers gonna have a lot of opportunity to come back into this. And I feel like the way their team plays, other map types could be suiting them a lot more than Control will. So gonna see what that's worth when we go to Escort next. It's gonna be Rialto again, maybe Route 66, Dorado. Even Junkertown is in the pool. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that one, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm like, when I think about this, what would they go to? I would say potentially Junkertown because of the sightlines, because of the way hitscan works on that map, and because you have Napkin on your team. But when I think about that as well, it's also like because they're also a Bastion team. They've played that at times. There's a lot of potential for them to go to Junkertown. Other maps could work just as well, but they have a choice, and if you have that choice, I'd go for that.
Well, and setting the stage is such a powerful tool. And if you can catch Fire Force off guard, Junkertown isn't a map that I don't think is really scrimmed or rehearsed
It's
as
not that
much.
popular. Nah.
Right. So you might be able to just catch them off guard a bit with that. Come in with those Bastion strats. Maybe utilize some great Widow play. I could see it. Yeah, I mean, I think Route 66 might benefit their tank lineup and what we saw on Busan, but who knows what else they have in store for us. Maybe that was just something they're reserved for Busan, and they're stronger with some of these more unconventional compositions we've yet to see.
And to be fair, they have another tank in their lineup. We still have Bry Guy that might be able to come out. He's more of the Reinhardt player that you usually have. So instead of that Winston, for instance, from Smonet, you could bring that out. If you go to a map where you feel like a Reinhardt's more necessary, and you can still have Venus Flytrap be on the Wrecking Ball, because the Wrecking Ball works with any other tank, really. You can kind of do whatever you want. And then if you want to play around that DPS of Napkin and maybe throw in like Shellal instead of Draco, where you have a more open concept with maybe an Echo or a Sombra or a Tracer next to it, then yeah, you can shake things up, especially on a map like Junkertown. We'll see what they actually pick, because it's still a bit of a question mark, of course, for us, since we can't see everything going on. But we do see Pandalogic come into the Fire Force squad. Pandalogic, a mainstay in the CEA tournament, definitely someone that we see around a lot. This time, again, going to be picking it out. And one map that we hadn't mentioned yet, Bull Skunk, but which also makes sense if you think about it, Havana.
Havana will definitely give Napkin a chance to pull out that Widowmaker once again.
For sure.
And though it was a small sample size, grant, but that kill onto the Tracer, it was a very small sample size.
Instance, yeah, for sure.
But that was a heck of a sample. Like that,
it
was one
sample.
little bite, but man, that was a delicious bite, full of flavor. I mean, to headshot a Tracer, maybe the most difficult thing you could ask of a Widowmaker, and then Napkin did it in, I mean, just the snap of a finger. So I would love more. I would love to get a full serving of that dish myself.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like we're going to be almost ready to go into this one. They just had to swap out Impact for Pandalogic, so no swaps on the side of Rektifiers, which we may have expected. But then again, when you look at the difference between Junkertown and Havana, there's more opportunity to stick with that divey style as opposed to having to pull out that Rhino or having to pull out a shield in a lot of situations. Sure. So I do understand that they're going to stick with this. Rektifiers attacking first. You're going to be having to set the tempo, set the pace, and
point one of this map is so interesting. Point two, you have more high ground to work with, and then point three, you have the long sight lines, and it gets us all close quarters inside the fortress. But point A is such an unusual point on this map. I mean, you will see the brawl come out from time to time, especially if the defense wants to do that close hold. Like, we're just going to shove you against the gas pumps and just try to buy as much.
Get out of spawn? Nope.
Yeah. Well, and you buy so much time doing that, and you're guaranteed another defense on the back of it when it's close quarters again, and it favors enters that brawl again, and you kind of just forego the interesting little L turn where the brawl isn't as strong. But you know, this is, and of course, the classic ability to use long range to just sit back down range and become a war of the snipers between the Ashe and the Widowmaker, perhaps even a Hanzo.
Yeah, it's there's so much potential for different things to do for both of these teams that all we can do is go into the map and actually see what they're pulling out, because we can speculate for days, but we just don't have the data, Blue Skunk. We just don't know what they actually would do. And Rektifiers being one map down, they're back against the corner straight from the get-go. Maybe that's a pressure they like. Maybe they're going to do even better. And with these longer sight lines, with this open map, and with the most annoying or most difficult points to capture in the entirety of Overwatch as your final point on this map, this is definitely, if it's your choice, something they would probably be more prepared for than Fire Force maybe. But we know Fire Force, again, they're a staple name in the tournament. They're always ending up in that top, and they're a unit to be reckoned with. So Rektifiers, have you got what it takes? Can you take out at least a map and maybe even a series from Amazon Fire Force? This is where you have to show it, because this is definitely your map choice. This is one that would definitely feel most in your favor out of the maps I can think of right now. So bring it out.
Getting game. We are going to have a bit of a side swap. So Fire Force will be in the blue, starting us off on the defense. Which, you know, fire in the blue, like it, you know, my OCD is not terribly happy about that, but I'll be okay, Classy. I know you were worried, but I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
Doing good.
I will quickly can tell whether they're going to try that close hold, and from what they're giving us so far, that's looking to be the case.
It's looking pretty good. But I don't think
that screams close hold to me.
It does, but they still have a ways to go. I mean, I think they're going to be holding in the cigar. Well, what's it called? What do you call it? Cigar store? Or you call it a cigar club? Or I don't know what that is. It's they provide you with the beautiful cigars that we have in Havana. And Venus, Flytrap, Smoned, Draco Kane, Napkin, Gandhi, and Polaroid coming out with the double sniper and the Brawly tank line. Other side, they're trying to get close to that Sombra and Reaper once again, but they're only holding again in that cigar shop. They're not that far back, but also not in their face in spawn straight away.
Yeah, I think they're just waiting to pounce. Oh, I mean, you do have Spicy in the back line there. One of the newcomers to this team so far is, you know, done pretty good. Needs to step it up a bit if they want to tie up the series. The double snipers, I was really concerned about the snipers coming out the door, but they found some room to work back here, and both of them are just kind of uncontested. So, assuming they can work through, okay, there comes the contest. Spicy's going to put some down, and Xephos actually finds first blood, favoring the defense while the snipers' heads were turned. But, oh, beautiful shot and an early shatter from the defense. That's going to lay him flat and put Rektifiers right back into spawn.
All right, Rektifiers have to go out and try again. Ask Napkin immediately over to that. McCree wants to pick out a little bit of a closer range. Of course, Widowmaker hard to get value with that range. Has to still try and find that opening, but they have a stronger case to get out of here. Xephos only just got back into mech, and they straight away go on to what a shatter.
That's the two-man shatter. Xephos is, well, right back out of mech as quickly as they got it back. They do manage to keep Chickenality alive. The other one hit by that shatter, and that's huge because of the... Never mind. They're just going to get killed by the Dragons. 99 to their sound barrier. What a play from a Draco to help move this cart forward.
Draco straight away getting a lot of value out of that one. I'm not entirely sure why that was so easy. It looked like just a good engage with a good shatter, and then the damage came out of it. But it also felt like a very weak backing off from the side of Fire Force. They could have just stuck it out and held that card as close as possible. They still have another chance to defend here, so it's fine. Ooh, EMP is good.
Yeah, EMP shatter combo, as a matter of fact. Top area investigated from the defense as well. Venus is going to respond with AP on their own. They got to get through the Death Blossom to find the kills. Venus does not, but both Reinhardts are down. Now Self-Destruct thrown in, finds both supports, but the DPS duo from Rektifiers are getting the job done nevertheless. Napkin swap it over to this McCree, making life very difficult for the defensive Fire Force.
Fire 4 is not going to be able to defend this first checkpoint. 4 minutes on the clock. And you can see why they picked this map. They're finally getting on their stride, and they know exactly which timings, which corners, which angles, where they can set up an ambush for defenders to try and re-engage. It's looking good for them so far. They're going to have the double DPS ultimates as well as the amplification matrix, and those are a deadly combination if I've ever seen one. No combination with the graviton for Draco, but that's not always necessary. You can probably just throw in a dragon to split up this team and make a great opening for them.
Oh, that was nice play in the back. A way to recognize the flank. Both supports already down from the defense, but they're still managing to find the frags. Napkin is going to go ahead and clap back, and the kills don't quite come through fast enough. It looked close, but Rektifiers still managed to hold on and keep the cart moving.
Close, but not close enough. That's what you like to see. At least if you're Rektifiers. They have a lot of ultimates left. They didn't have to use those DPS ultimates or the amplification matrix, and now they're going to have the tank ultimates come close too. Nothing ready on the defense. This is looking like a very easy 0.2 cap, Bullskunk.
Yeah, especially with Napkin set up back here. There's not really anybody to challenge them. And if Napkin just continues to sit up here and range shots, we've seen the accuracy throughout the day. They're going to throw it on the dead. It doesn't quite get the coalescing Moira, but NJ still falls. Venus falls as well, so once again, main tanks the first to fall from both teams, as Napkin's going to loop around and just try to keep peppering in shots from the high ground. Just pick up one, and eventually the pressure will come through. The DPS just had all the time in the world to sit back and eventually land those shots, and Napkin and Draco oblige.
We saw that in the last series with Big EZ, just being able to stand on the sidelines and shoot wherever they want, whoever they wanted, whenever they wanted. That's what you cannot do. McCree with his shooting gallery. It's the same as with a soldier, a Hanzo, a Widowmaker. Like, if you give them that space, if they can do whatever they want, you're going to die. You're going to lose that fight. There's a Brigitte and a Winston stuck in that side room. They might be able to get out without much contest, but Napkin back over to the Widowmaker will go for those longer sidelines. Versus Spicy, this is going to be the true hindquarter matchup.
Oh, the recon arrow just points out in Jape. I heard the Metal Gear Solid alert sound as soon as that happened, and you're going to punish them. Yeah, and they get punished. They're down. Dragons coming out a little bit after the Graviton Surge. Not quite sure what the Dragons were all about. I mean, just trying to clear the high ground with them, I suppose. They were already at a +3.
Imagine if there was a hero that would just go into like a cardboard box and like crawl around the map. It would be beautiful to see, but I don't think that's going to happen. But hey, Overwatch 2, guys, we can dream. For now, though, Napkin almost at that infra site already. You can see how much more they've done than Spicy already. Double ult charge and more. And Spicy moving over to the other side of this inside fortress. Trying to find an angle on something, but it's so far Napkin that dominates those sightlines. Not going to be a successful push, yeah. Yeah, like not getting Venus out of there is huge. I mean, getting that. Oh, they're fighting back those Bullskunk.
Oh my god! The beautiful push and pull. The rubber band was real. They fell back, they bend but not break, and they just create space, keep the space, and find the kills.
Well, that's the thing as well. They didn't need to chase them because they were going to back off anyways. Without Venus, they were never going to really push because they want that Reinhardt against those sightlines. But if you give them that opportunity to take your Ana out, to take your Brigitte out, your Zarya to fall, now they're going to have an easy time to just walk into that checkpoint. 1:45 on the clock, and they're just going to do it, I feel like.
Through the nano boost, through the rally, it's still Rektifiers finding all the kills. The Primal Rage, now the Graviton Surge invested, but a long distance discus throw from Gandhi ensures nobody is dying inside that Graviton Surge. And that is a minute 29 left in the time bank on potentially the most difficult escort map in the entire game. Like, you're happy just to complete this one, class.
I mean, and that was a filthy amplification matrix in the end there as well, because a Widowmaker, if you don't have to headshot anymore, you have the easiest time ever. Like, headshots, you want to hit them, of course. But with that window, if you can just go for body shots and still do double damage, that's exactly what you want. It's not quite as much as headshot damage, because that's 2.5 multiplier. But it's still a lot. And you can get most squishies just with one body shot, which is, yeah, it's exactly what Napkin was able to do there. Now on the defense, they're probably going to pull out those snipers again. They might also go for his close hold. It's possible, but yeah. Actually, they might. Yeah, with Draco and Napkin starting on that McCree May, it's very likely what they'll do. And how are they going to get out of spawn? Are they going to be able to do the same thing where they take the diva out of mech and then just push forward? Are they going to have to switch things up? What is going to be the exit strategy for Fire Force? So far, it definitely looks like they haven't practiced this map as much. It was a brilliant choice coming out from the Rectifiers. They played into their own hands. They practiced a map that isn't that played that often. It's not Junkertown, but Havana's still not that popular.
Yeah, exactly. Like we may not have nailed the map, but we nailed the strategy. Like it still applies here apparently because Fire Force looked indecisive, like with a semi-close hold. Like wasn't sure whether to get aggressive or kite back. They seemed indecisive and unsure of themselves coming out of the gate as they're running into the close hold now. With a Reaper May, they might be able to succeed. That's a good opening pick to make it happen, but they're going to lose NJape along the way. Nice wall from Fire Force to try to separate the healers from the Zarya, but they're not quite able to get that kill onto Smonid. And they're going to turn around and take down Spicy with that high charge beam. Oh, beautiful headshot.
Right now, Napkin just in a great spot. Has a shooting gallery for themselves, has just the rest of his team in the way, and there is adaptation immediately coming out. They have to go for this close range combo with May and Reaper. Pandalogic gets an anti-nade in, but not quite safely enough.
And he's gonna get killed for it. I mean, they managed to get Draco, so their wall is off the table, but now there's a giant window in the way, a double damage window. Napkin's going to take full advantage of that. Take Spicy out of the fight, which is the close range damage gone. Good news for Fire Force is that, well, never mind. They're going to throw the Blizzard in with nobody there to follow up on it. I was about to compliment you, Fire Force. You had the ult, so you just threw him away.
Very likely going to be a few more minutes of hold. 2.5 minutes to go. You got both tank ultimates. You got the High Noon. This is looking like at least one more fight win. If they cannot make use of that sound barrier well enough, it's a good sleep dart to start. Maybe that helps.
They're going to have to save that sound barrier, otherwise this Graviton Surge is going to find massive value. Now, if they can kill Smonid before they use the sound barrier, that would be ideal for Fire Force to try and work their way out of spawn. I'm honestly not convinced. Like maybe a swap is what's due here. You've got 2 minutes and 15 seconds. If you're going to swap, now's the time. Because so far they haven't found the value with Spicy's Reaper. I don't know if one of them has an Echo or a Pharah in their hero pool, but it's a common response to this close hold to get up on the rooftops and get out of the LOS of what Rektifiers are holding you down with.
Yeah, you have to do something here. You have to somehow either out-rotate them or just punch through them. And so far, they haven't been able to try and out-rotate them. They definitely have not been able to punch through. This looks like a more promising fight, though. Like, they still have that sound barrier in the pocket. There is a shatter if NJip can get into position correctly. All they need is to make sure that Immortality Field is not there. That Immortality Field can just ruin all the plans they have. And yeah, you need it. You just need to force that out. I think it is actually out right now. Is he throwing it down right now on our screen?
Is the shatter?
Like above the shield? No, the Immortality Field. I think it's above the shield right now.
That might be? Yes.
I think that's what I don't know what else it would be because that's a really weird thing, and it's not part of the truck. I have parkoured this map plenty of time. That's not a thing that's part of the map, at least.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that is the.
Oh, they lost their Graviton. Their Zarya is out.
Oh no!
Yeah, no. This is very likely just a fight win, just purely based on the loss of your Zarya. Yeah, that it happens, but I'm very.
Smart D-Sing with the most important ult on the table right now, aside from maybe Chicken Sound Barrier.
Maybe, but again, like Chicken Sound Barrier is exactly what's going to help them out.
No, exactly.
They're pushing. Yeah,
they don't have to say that anymore.
No, they don't. I mean, they still could, but it's not really as useful as it was before. Maybe you could save it for like the Blizzard if it comes through, or after the Shatter. You can still use it for something. But let's see how this fight plays out. Players are back in the lobby, and we're hoping to continue any second now.
I think it gives you more
chain of events.
Yeah,
chain of events. What's going to happen here? I'm guessing they're gonna just charge in. They're just gonna not give a hoot and just be, you know what? You lost your Zarya. You don't have a graph. We're just gonna go with our sound barrier and just roll over you.
Yeah, nano boost onto NJ, try to push in and get the kill onto Venus, and then shatter the rest of the team. That's
Yeah,
what I'm looking for win condition from Fire Force right now. I mean, you've got to take advantage of it. Like, it's unfortunate roll of the dice.
yeah.
You know, you hate to see it, but right now you've been gifted a chance to get out of this spawn, and that's your chance to do it. Get aggressive and take it. Take full advantage.
Especially since the immortality field, it looks like it's already out, like it's getting posted right now. Yeah, there it
That's
is.
exactly what that was.
So
Good
you just
call.
get it out, and yeah, it was weird on my screen. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, it was like sideways. The shatter comes through from the defense. The sound barrier is there to keep them up. The nano boost is out, and it is on NJ. And they're going to push forward, get the kill, drop the shatter, devour the back line. You executed beautifully. Fire Force is exactly what I wanted to see.
It's what we do. We try to predict what we most logical chain of events. They had time to talk about it so that we... and of course, Draco throws out that Blizzard. You're like, why do you do that? You're going to throw away an ultimate. But it feels like they should be maybe going off to another composition soon. So you might not have had another chance for that. If they're not swapping, it would be a questionable choice. And it does look like it has been questionable. That Blizzard was not necessary there.
Oh, Spicy. Spicy's just hiding with the Death Blossom over the top, drops it down, but there's an immortality field, there's an ice block, there's Bubbles. Spicy didn't stand a chance. And now there's Ant Matrix and Sound Barrier up from the defense, and Napkin is able to find 2 kills with that. Oh, Spicy, it was a valiant attempt, but you got read like a book.
That was beautiful. That was just great. I mean, you saw it come out. They're like, there's no Reaper in front of us. He's probably going to drop and Death Blossom, isn't he? Like, yep, that's exactly what he's going to do. We're going to shut him down with an Immortality Field and everything else that we have in our arsenal. Now they have to attack again. They got given such a beautiful opportunity, and now it's all squandered. The ultimates are not there anymore.
Blizzard out, but the defensive Rektifiers is able to back up, throw down their Deadeye, and kind of just kept Fire Force from being able to follow up on that Blizzard. Big Anti in the back, and Polydroid, it will fall. Nice follow. Paintologic taking matters in their own hands, getting Lucio out of the fight, which is going to make for a little bit slower re-engage, a little bit slower rotations from Rektifiers right now, and now they're on the fringes and not able to contest.
They were still able to like wall and freeze out Venus Flytrap in that one, so the Reinhardt being gone was a big deal. They could use that shield advantage and just pushed on through with that. Now, be Spicy trying to chase down this Lucio. There's plenty of ultimates available for the defense, but there are more for the attack. This is a great place to be in if you are Amazon Fire Force. And they're trying to get this payload further. They wasted a lot of time on point A. Now they're gonna, hopefully not, for them at least, not waste that much time on point B, because it's they need some. The 129 on point 3, that's exactly the time you get when you capture point 2.
Oh, those exit kills were huge. Now Fire Force is able to take up this position on the high ground. Graviton Surge out from the defense. The Sound Barrier from the attacking Fire Force. Nano Boost down onto NJ, but they're going to run in and shatter with it. Smash down. Gandhi right in the dome. Said, your Ant Matrix be damned. I'm charging right through it.
This is... ooh, let's go. Oh, Xiphos. Able to help beam that down. Still got the Graviton to potentially stop anyone from coming back in. They might just do that. They also have a Blizzard to do that. A lot of zone control, honestly, for them. A lot of CC. This point's going to get capped. And that is 2 minutes 58 to try and capture point 3. They'll likely won't be able to do it in that quick a time. There are a lot of ultimates, though, that they do not have on the side of the Rektifiers. No switches over to Widowmakers. No switches at all. It's a beautiful Blizzard, Graviton.
Indeed, the Immortality Field is there, denying the follow-up, but Spicy, ooh, didn't quite get the data. That could have been vicious. Looks like they almost got blocked by their own May wall on that one. But still, you can see how that Fire Force are able to scatter the defense. Rektifiers didn't fall back to the corner as a unit. They kind of spread out over the front half of this objective, and they're getting picked off along the way. A couple kills went their favor, but they're going to be back in the fight quickly.
They really are. Taeyong ready with the Blizzard still. Hasn't used it for a couple of fights now. This should be the one that they throw it out. But maybe it's just a Shatter first to draw some resources. Napkin finally back on the Widowmaker. Let's see how big they can get those shots into the heads of people. They need to hit a few. It needs to start happening soon. Otherwise, this range distance, this range advantage is going to get away quickly.
It's going to disappear very quickly with the Blizzard out. Sound barrier there from Polar Droid. But the Nano Boost is down onto NJ, who's pushing forward, able to get Venus Flytrap, and once again, looking for the Shatter, throws it down, doesn't find anything with the Shatter, whiffs entirely, as a matter of fact, on that one, but it looks like it may not matter, as it's continued to rack up kills, one from NJ. Oh, but the counter's there. Spicy just managed to pick up 2 across the course of this, but every kill from that defense, so important. The Immortality Field prevents the death from the Deadeye, and Venus Flytrap will get taken off the point. This cap should come in. Just a couple of bubbles to work through. Zarya doesn't have any cooldowns left. They're going to get burned down rather quick-like. Attack Visor combined with the Graviton Surge finds nothing. Zilch, that did manage to whittle down that time bank, but still the cap comes through.
Ending up with about half a minute more for the Rektifiers. If you have to give this to either of the teams based on the first point performance, Rektifiers may have gotten cheated out of a first point hold just by virtue of that disconnect from Smonet. But that, of course, that's not how it works. You know, you can still say, well, even though they got that against them, they still almost won the fight after. That being said, it still feels like this is Rektifier's map to take, not because of that extra half minute, but because of how those first points transpired, because of how the trend throughout the map transpired, and it's almost impossible for this to become a draw.
I mean, I can't help but feel like, it took an act of God, quite literally, for Fire Force to get out of spawn.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've got 60 seconds to do it again. Fire Force... are they going to make any changes? That's, I mean, you can expect the same thing. I mean, we're getting Draco Kane on the Reaper and Napkin on the McCree. We're getting the close-up hold. I anticipate they're going to charge out and hold the gas pumps once again. How does Fire Force adjust? I don't know if this comp is going to do it.
We'll see. At least they start on the right comp straight away. Like they don't try and come out with a dive in the first place. So that's Ultra are not giving up, but Venus Flytrap, huge fire strike. It's at 40% charge straight away.
We're trying to get that flashbang up there, but Immortality Field nicely placed from Gandhi. No kills as a result of Spicy's flashbang up top. Zephos able to burn down Venus Flytrap. Okay, that's the start you're looking for. They do lose Spicy along the way. Zephos is able to pick up 2 more. The hero that Fire Force needed finds plenty of kills charged to the heavens.
Zephos always happy to step up to that plate. Now, 15 seconds left. They won't make it even to the checkpoint before this time runs out, so they're going to be in overtime. And this is going to be a race between these teams. Who can get the cart the furthest in overtime? That's realistically what you were looking at in the first place. But now, oh, Venus Flytrap going down this early. The wall was good. This might just be point A, given up straight away. As long as they don't walk off it, there's still the C9 option. Doesn't look like they're exercising it right now. It's in your contract. You can do it whenever you want, but they're not exercising that clause. It is interestingly enough, it is Section 5 subclause C9. Like it is actually that, so it's fun.
Yeah, no, that's a good subclause, and we've seen plenty of teams take advantage of it. Did buy enough time for a recontest, so despite not opting for the C9, they overextended, don't put enough people on the cart. And that Death Blossom is going to put the nail in the coffin. They did opt for the 3-3. If you're going to hold up a little bit aggressively, you need to keep at least 3 people on the cart. I would have kept more than that. But only keeping 1, and at the very end of it, they put 2 people on the cart. They weren't covering enough space quick enough. They left the door open.
No, they could have definitely gotten it in there. That's unfortunate. But then again, we'll see if this makes a difference or not, because it could be that there's going to be such a quick out of spawn move coming out from Rektifiers that they just make it to that first checkpoint with like 30 seconds left, and then it might not have mattered in the first place. But that's all question marks and speculation. All we can do is watch the players do their work, watch them do their beautiful thing. It's going to be the attack coming out from Rektifiers. Spawn at Venus Flytrap, Draco Kane, Napkin, Gandhi, and Polaroid once again on the attack out of spawn. They are looking very solid on the similar compositions they've been playing. They probably already suspect that they have to come out of the spawn this way because that defense is going to set up close. They kind of have to to get themselves as much opportunity to stop the cart before it reaches the yellow box of victory. It's it's a fun thing to see how the defense opts for this Mei again, for Taeyong, because they've been doing well on the Reaper as well. They don't need to be on this Mei. It's just that wall is such a powerful tool for keeping teams split and in spawn.
That Reaper Widow we were talking about, but immediately Gandhi goes down, and Jake just punishing, just forego the Reinhardt battle and just went right for the back line and hammered him down.
They thought they could go for an explosive play to maybe give Napkin an angle for a Widow shot, but it wasn't happening. They gave up a lot of ult charge, barely gained anything themselves, and now they have to go for the slower play. Just go out of spawn as a unit with the 6, with the McCree. Flashbang already out from Spice, he didn't get much, so that's at least a thing. And almost goes down, actually, so low, still doesn't get that much health back.
Yeah, it was as low as 12 health. Bubbles used from Fire Force. From Rektifiers, rather, but the immortality fell out from Fire Force. Then Spicy eventually does fall. Pushing through, running right into a Shatter, a 4-man Shatter, as a matter of fact. And Zephos is going to move in and clean up. Venus does clap back and find 3. Oh! How do you let that happen?
You let it happen by trying to focus down a few targets, and then your rest of your backline just gets left behind. Losing one hero in that defense is your detriment. Just one, and they lost 4 straight away. That's not what you want to do. Venus will have that Shatter ready. It's going to come down to one fight realistically. Don't leave the cart. Make sure it gets there. There's still someone on it, so the overtime will trigger properly. Oh, Spicy, once again in a risky position, does get out alive, but barely. And so many resources have to keep being invested in that McCree.
Oh, got really lucky that Napkin didn't land that shot. All right, here it comes. Speed boosted in. The Blizzard onto the point. Ant Matrix there to try to follow it up, but Draco is in the back, able to find 1, find 2. Graviton Surge out. 3 kills for Draco. And Rektifiers are going to march this car right on in. That is going to be a 2-0 lead heading into half.
I think that's a 1-1.
Or 1-1. Excuse me, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Fire Force won that control map.
Yeah, the side swap fooled me for a split second. Shame on me, but props to Rektifiers tying up our series.
Tying up our series, might go for another map 5. Maybe a map 6, which we still get it just to the other one. But yeah, this was that shutdown of Spicy in that previous attack. They stopped the Death Blossom coming out. And that was the thing, right? Because you saw exactly what Draco did the time after that, when he's like, I'm not going to Death Blossom because I don't have it in the first place, but I'm waiting for my team to actually distract the enemy front line, and then I drop in just with the shotguns on the Shatter, get the follow-up. McCree was trying to do a Deadeye, and he just got the follow-up. It's great work, well done, and they got the value, like you said. Map 2 maps down, potentially at least 2 more to go, potentially 3 or 4. It's going to be great. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. Do that usually after 2 maps, and when we come back, we have the rest of the series. Maybe not even the rest. Maybe we have to take another break soon, because it's a hot one out there, Bull Skunk. I'm getting sweaty just watching this.
I'm gonna go clean the egg off my face. We'll be back with you in just a moment. With you on RTX, Rektifiers 4-0 on the season. Amazon Fire Force, the exact same, both deadlocked in this series. I mean, this is looking pretty darn even. And wait a minute. What is this map, Classy? This doesn't look like Kings Row.
This is a new map. It wasn't a game for a while after like the game launched, but then people never played it anymore because Kings Row. And now they've brought it back, so Numbani is an option. These teams picking it, and it's we said it in the break, like when we were off air for a little bit. Not surprising. Both these teams like playing with dive heroes. Venus Flytrap on the Wrecking Ball, Smonet on the Winston, and JP even likes being on the Winston at times. Xiphos, Diva, Zarya. Like, this is a perfect map to play that on of all the hybrid maps. And they're going for it. Venus just spying a little ahead, saw some shades and says, "This is what they're running, guys. Get in position. It's gonna go well." Ooh, misses the roll. Hammond, such a mobility-based hero. You need to know those moves, and just missing those mid-fight can be a big deal.
Yeah, it certainly can. Especially going up against V on this Echo. You gotta be very careful. And Echo and McCree are gonna burn through a Wrecking Ball quite quickly. They're going to be held at bay by a nice Bionade from Gandhi to start things off. A newcomer this season here for Rektifiers. Good pickup so far from what we've seen here today.
Been working out good immortality fields. Let's see if the Ana nades, etc. are going to be just as good. So far, they are. Spicy almost going down to 1. And NJ tries to go in, but missing half his team because of those anti-nades and the pressure in main. Not want to be up there alone as a lonely Winston. We know how Numbani goes, Bull Skunk. It's been happening all the time. There's an Ana in that top corner, and both teams just want to make sure that Ana either goes down or doesn't go down. That's their focus. If she's gone, they win. If she's not, well, then they failed, and they have to go again. Building old charge in the meantime, but Napkin in a great spot here with that Ashe.
It's a beautiful peel from Rektifiers on the defense. They're going to get aggressive on the other side, and Injape goes down once again. Injape not able to stay alive at all, and the rest of Fire Force just haven't really been able to really get in the fight.
Hey, you know what? At least this solves one problem for us. We've been trying to say their full name the entire time. Now we can just say it. It's Ashe Napkin. It's happening. We can go for it. We just got it. Yeah. They're on the right hero. We don't have to hide it anymore. It's Ashe Napkin. It's coming out here. Oh, the Nano Winston. That could be dangerous, but no, they dodge it quite beautifully. Bollywood does go down as a result, though.
Yeah, the impact's down at the back line. Smodet's going to fall. Venus Flytrap trying to keep Rektifiers in this fight, and Ashe Napkin has thrown the bomb out to try to make up the deficit. There's mines on the point as well. Nice shooting! Napkin picks up 2.
Well, Napkin also, it might have looked weird, like threw a dynamite onto their own Ana, but imagine if someone jumps onto Gandhi there to try and get them and a dynamite goes off. This is a beautiful move. It's almost halfway to the next ball, probably will because of that dynamite follow-up. Yeah, Ashe Napkin in a great spot right now. I'm going to keep saying it because it's until they're off the Ashe, that's what they are. They're the Ashe Napkin. They're going to go underneath this time around. There is a duplicate ready, so they might go for a double Winston jump. That would be amazing to see. Is both of them, ooh, going to get the environmentals.
Oh,
Venus Flytrap was so close there.
And stuck around too long. Indeed, that Echo burns them down. Impact able to get the rally built up and now out. The duplicate actually used onto the Ashe. As the Deadeye is going to take Polar Droid out of the back. V finds a pair with that Ashe, including Gandhi, and that's going to do it. Point A coming through.
Yeah, it's used a lot to get there, but they finally did make it. There's going to be a lot of ultimates ready for the defense. We might not actually see a smooth Streets face, which we often get on Numbani with all these ultimates against them. But I'm willing to be surprised. I'm happy for it if they can make it happen. 3 minutes on the clock. Can they make it to that next checkpoint with about 2 minutes on the clock? Because that's a fast and normal Streets phase.
Yeah, I mean, often Point B Numbani is considered a bit of a wash for the defense. Just buy as much time as you can. But if they can win this first fight and stabilize on this high ground, they can be very difficult to dislodge. The bomb is coming out from Ashe Napkin onto the point to stall out the cart by a little time. Dive coming through, bubble in the way of the heels, and the Techvisor is going to take Panda down. Draco does fall in their own right. but it's still a player advantage for the defense. Jasmonen's going to throw down the Primal and batter down Spicy. Nice bit of juggling to send the McCree back to spawn.
Weaver Taeyong doing a decent job on this Echo so far. It's been a nice addition, and a lot of the time what you'll see is NJ jump in somewhere, and then Weaver Taeyong immediately following up with the focus beam. Because of the extra burst damage, they don't need to go for other damage first before they can focus beam. That Winston can take off half a health bar on his own a lot of the time.
That's exactly what Smana just did there. Unfortunately, it was against V's Echo. They were not able to escape, not able to get heals in that bubble. And that was the perfect start to that fight. Divide and conquer, Rektifiers hold.
Well, we're seeing NJ trying to get back up to that primal, but this fight's going to be all about that high noon. Can you find the value with it? With the rally to engage, you should be able to at least sustain through it. It's never as easy as that.
The mid fight very strong here. Great coordination, although Smana does get burned down. The bubble was used way too far back, and it didn't provide enough value on the point. Well, now Tracer Napkin moved in. That's our fun little nickname is now gone. But the Deadeye also made sure that Gandhi is also gone. Polar Droid's gonna fall, no more heals, and well, I mean. You take that if you're Rektifiers. You bought a lot of time off. Fire Force will eventually pick up point B.
Fire Force should eventually get it. It's what you think, especially with all these picks coming out. But the cart's still moving slowly. No, the spawns are too far away.
Time. Yeah.
Won't be able to do it. But you know, I said it. If they get it with about 2 minutes left, they did a good Street Space, and it's 2 minutes 11 that they have now, which means they took way longer on Street Space than you often see. Because of that ult advantage. And once again, there's a big ultimate advantage coming out from the defense. So, I mean, it's not as big as it was before, but it's still there. And it's still relatively sizable if you see what ultimates are available.
We are getting swaps as Smada and Venus are going to the Reinzar respectively. Polar Droid over to the Lucio. Pulse Bomb in, blocked by the barrier. Then Nano Boost is thrown onto Draco. And Draco moving in and just putting so much pressure down. Gandhi's able to follow up 3 kills for Gandhi on the Ana. Oh, good job, Grandma. Good job.
Newcomer, Deadbringer. That's Gandhi in a nutshell. Not really what you would think with the name Gandhi, but hey, you know, healing and peace can be just as powerful as a weapon, as actual weapons. So I'm all for it. You see Panda Logic with that Nano. Who are they going to give it to? It's likely going to go to NJape again, but maybe to Weaver Taeyong if they want to get that duplicate up quickly. It's possible.
Panda Logic going to throw down the Nano Boost on NJape.
Oh no!
Oh, Draco got stunned out of that. Oh, that was a tough situation. Nice play from Impact there to recognize that the Deadeye's going to come through as well. So it's a +2. Make that a +3 as both supports fall to the hands of Spicy and that Peacekeeper.
Is Napkin going to stick on that Tracer with that Pulse, or are they going to try something else, maybe with the McCree or a Widowmaker or an Ashe still? No, they're going to stick on it. I guess that works. Even if you get that stick out, then you do eventually get his free kill. It's Gandhi with that Nano Boost, though, gets it onto the Reinhardt straight away. It's a safe choice. Pulse Bomb doesn't get much, but now with all these kills coming, it might be over before it even starts.
Oh, the duplicated Ryan takes Venus out of their own shatter. Interrupted. Both players hit Q at the same time, and V emerges victorious. Amazon with just under 10 seconds left, but it's a very important 10 seconds.
I thought you were going to have the shatter first. Server code says no. Unfortunately, you will have to bow down to the Weaver Taeyong Reinhardt duplicate. It's 9.6 seconds. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it could be the difference between having another chance and not having another chance sometimes.
Exactly.
Sometimes. We will have to see a map completion out of the out of the Rektifiers. Really liking to see this Numbani play. You can see how diversified these teams are, being able to switch over to that dive composition really quickly. It's a doozy, and I love to see it. It's exactly what I like about Numbani, this diversity, this change of playstyle, the swapping throughout the map sometimes, which you've even saw from these teams. It's really what brings this map together.
And we expect that level of adaptability from our 2 undefeated teams sitting atop in our Swiss stage. here in the spring tournament. Coming out on the defense, they're going to continue to put that on display as we get the Winston and the Diva once again.
Winston and Diva, not surprised. I mean, obviously they did fairly well in these 2 picks. I want to see what Venus Flytrap can do on the attack, though. Like, that's where this Wrecking Ball really is going to shine, to dislodge the defense from the positions where they are. How are they going to be able to do it? Are they going to be able to do it? Because Impact and Panda and Spicy all still have those tools to block that Wrecking Ball's pathing.
Yeah, I guess the one benefit for Venus is there's not a May. Obviously, like you say, the McCready Brig and the Ana can still provide a lot of CC. As there comes the attack. Polaroid right over the top with it. Draco teleports up there. And despite the beautiful timing on the dive, Venus still cannot survive. And the Nation tool is now gone. NJ falls, but I think it's going to be the only casualty from Fire Force as they thwart the first attack from Rektifiers.
Rektifier is not going to be able to get through on this one. It's definitely going to be a good one coming out here for them again for the defense. You start out strong. That being said, there is a bit of ult charge being accrued here onto Napkin, which is exactly what you want to get from them. Taeyong on that Tracer, though, could be dangerous with that Pulse Bomb coming up, but it's not quite there yet.
I was going to say, with Zephos in position over there, they're looking to get aggressive. And the Pulse Bomb lands onto Venus. We're going to finish off the Wrecking Ball. Now the Nano Boost coming out onto NJ as they're trying to just continue to burn down the front line. Oh, knocked Smonted down into the welcoming arms of NJ's super shock Tesla cannon.
This is not looking great so far for Rektifiers. I mean, of course, this was the map pick of Fire Force, so makes sense that they do well on it. But this is a big difference in performance already. It took them a few pushes, though, Fire Force. So Rektifiers, not to worry just yet. They're starting to get their ultimates. It's just about how are they going to get these openings? How are they going to get to where they want to go? How are they going to get these players off? Are they going to have to try and force the low ground fight before they get up there? Because this isn't working.
Venus just got knocked into oblivion with that whip flail. Draco's able to get one, but Smonted goes down. The Nano Boost does go on to Draco. That was one of my big questions. Now can they take advantage of it? Death Blossom are ready to go as they're looking in to burn down the tanks. Try to work through. Death Blossom comes out, and it does find Impact. That's a pretty good kill. And then here comes the self-destruct. Able to shadow step out of the way of that. Draco's going to return to the objective and point those Hellfire shotguns at anybody that dares get close.
Getting closer and closer to that point cap. They will probably get it. There might be a recontest. They're trying with a Nano Diva, but they block well enough. That was good body blocking going on there. Don't get the Diva out of mech, but just make sure she doesn't get to that objective. 3 minutes 46 to get on there. Slightly faster as well, I think, than what Fire Force was able to do. And they have a way better route through the street space. There's not that big ult disparity that they had in their advantage on defense.
No, they were kind of gifted that one. Fire Force not only nanoed Zephos, but NJP used the Primal as well, and swaps are being made. So Spicy going over to the Sombra to try to help deal with Venus on this Wrecking Ball. All of that means that the economy has shifted even more in Rektifier's favor.
Yeah, Rektifier's just in a great spot. Spicy going back over to that Sombra. We knew it worked a little bit onto Busan. Of course, they won that map, so it makes sense that it worked. But has to build up to the EMP very quickly to even have a chance of stopping this payload, which is not being pushed right now, but there's so much space.
Gandhi again with the piece through superior firepower, lands a beautiful sleep and takes the Tracer down. Now the Dragon's coming out from Rektifiers as they continue to push this cart forward. NJP is forced to just sit back and wait for the healing to come through, trying to wait for reinforcements, but Venus Flytrap's not giving him the space, not giving him the time. It's just going to delete those healers, and NJP then has nothing to keep them alive. Makes for an easy kill from Smonted, who was nano boosted from Gandhi.
Gandhi just in a great spot here again, showing up great with this team. I mean, they of course have already played 4 matches, but it's the first time we're getting to see them on stream with their new unit, and it's great. You know, both them and Venus Flytrap, new players, and they really are showing up. It's a good addition to the support line, good addition to the tank line, and they're really able to already build a team around those 2 heroes, not just their addition to the team, their additions to playstyle.
Gani's been an extremely impressive Ana. Has been catching my eye all day as here comes the attack onto the high ground. Nano boost out from Panda this time, and it's going to be onto NJ. Napkin hacked in the back, and the Nano Winston in their face. But they're able to stay alive momentarily, but now the Winston is very angry, and there it is, Gandhi with the big sleep. NJ with just about 100 health is forced out of there. EMP does come through. That's going to find 4. Is the follow-up there? Yes. 2 kills down, including Venus on the Wrecking Ball. Primal still invested, and well, then Sminute is just going to get out of there. Like, thought about fighting it, and then like, nah, never mind.
Yeah, of course you got to pick your battles, and that was not the one to pick. You just feed over ult charge that you have a big ult advantage. You don't need to feed over ult charge. Actually, gonna switch over to the Zarya now. Try and give Venus. That's probably the thing. They want to give Venus a bubble to get in and get their minefields off properly instead of just getting flashed and stunned out. And that's a fair assumption to make. You know, they are going to look for Venus. But there are a few hiding in this stairwell. Napkin almost in trouble. No, the break comes out with the rally. And the sound barriers needed to save them all.
But it doesn't save Spotted. So now those bubbles aren't even there. The Nano Boost did go on to Draco, who's going to push forward with the Death Blossom. Not really a whole lot of targets here yet. Sees some in the small hallway. Takes care of the Translocator. And now facing a nano-boosted Winston on the other side. Indra pushing forward, trying to build up to yet another Primal Rage. It's going to kill Napkin in the process, but not before Napkin can take Spicy out of the fight. 80% to EMP. They're going to get back in here pretty quickly, and the defense should be able to stabilize, certainly with Draco getting killed by that Deadeye.
Draco out means that fight is over. That was the Death Blossom you were waiting for that didn't come out. Death Blossoms have been back and forth tonight in general. Like, it's either been shut down or got a lot of value. It's not really a mid-value ultimate, but that's what we say about a lot of them. Blossom, no exception. Gani now going back over to the Baptiste. And it makes sense. They feel like they need a little bit more of that AoE healing. They feel like they need a little bit more protection against a few of the utility items that they have on the other side. And the ultimates with that immortality field. It's such a powerful tool. Spicy will have that EMP ready, though. 1 minute and 9 seconds to go. And that EMP can just at least end one of those fights together with, for instance, a self-destruct to get that combo going. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Baptiste comes the Reinhardt. The self-destruct EMP finds 5!
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm not even surprised by that anymore, because you saw it happen from a mile away. As soon as that self-destruct comes in at such a low predictable angle, you know that Sombra is going to just walk in and press Q, because he doesn't have to aim if there's nothing you can do to protect against it. And I think they kind of sort of surrender to the fact that it was happening too. They didn't really try and fight it like, yep, this is an EMP, isn't it? And now they know there's only a Primal. This is their best shot, and the only shot they'll have.
Last chance, 20 seconds. Then James going to use the Primal up top, and it finds Gandhi immediately. Oh no, and it follows up with 2 more. NJ with a huge Primal up in the small room. Saw the perfect opportunity to shut this attack down before it even began. And that's enough for Fire Force to hold on and win map 3, taking the 2-1 lead in our series.
Turns out, map choice. Pretty important, especially if you can pick a map that the other team might not have practiced as much as you. Havana was an example. This is another one on Numbani. That means the problem is with Assault, there are only 3 maps that you can pick from. So there isn't that much surprising you can do, and that might be how we're getting to a 3-1 quicker than a 2-2. That being said, we can only speculate once again. And when you look at heroes that they're playing on the side of Rektifiers, I would potentially say they're going to Volskaya, maybe Anubis. But it seems like Hanamura. Yeah, because Hanamura doesn't seem the map to go if you potentially want to play more hit scan and more open. You can do it in Hanamura, but it's definitely the map where you can get shut down easiest on dive. And on Volskaya, it's probably the best option they have. They could go Anubis, because especially of that first point, but that second point, again, feels way more enclosed, and that's not where Rektifiers have shown. They're not the team that wants to go back over to that Reinhardt composition, as evidenced by that last point.
Yeah, I think Volskaya is the way to go. You got more options. You could stick with what's been working for you for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, heck,
Get
get
that Widow
Gandhi
out.
back.
Let's do it.
Get Gandhi back on that Ana. That
Yeah.
was insane Ana performance, and you've got much safer ground to keep the Ana alive, to bolster that Winston. I mean, some great Winston play. Although NJ, that final play from NJ, what a read to leap up
Was
into the
really
small room.
good.
They had one ult to work with, and oh my goodness, they got max value out of it. Triple kill. Didn't even allow Rektifiers to get out of the door. So huge, huge plays. As well, looks like our map selection's coming through, and we're actually headed to the arid desert. We're going to Anubis.
Yeah, Anubis coming out. It's the last one that I would have thought they were going to, but again, it might be why they're picking it because it's the least popular of the three. I think
Yeah,
the teams will pick this least, and they might have a really cool strat plan out on this because there are some fun things you can do in Anubis that a lot of teams might not think of.
certainly. I mean, you got a lot of options here. You also have the ability to run some wrecking ball comps, both on offense and defense. It does get a little trickier once you head into point B. But I mean, with that said, like the brawl from Rectifiers hasn't been bad either. So I
No,
mean,
it
then
really hasn't.
maybe it'll give them a chance to just flex that versatility as well. And maybe they can win it out on point B with the brawl that won it out for them on Havana.
Yeah, and Havana was, of course, the map they won. I think Havana as well, it ended up closer than it maybe could have been because of that one disconnect that we had in the middle. So I'm just
Yeah.
counting this as like it's an actual, it was actually just like a clear win for them, clear win on Numbani for the other side of Fire Force. And now let's see who wins Anubis. Because once again, the one that has picked the map have looking very good, very confident, and very successful on the maps they've picked. And Anubis might not be an exception on that rule. Rectifier is going to be starting on the attack as we're used to. These teams just swap whenever they get to not pick the map when they won the last one. Defense favor is just the thing. Teams like to start on defense because then you know how far you have to go. You can maybe change up the composition because you only have to win one fight. It's just a safer bet in a lot of situations, but we've seen the opposite happen as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's advantages to both. I don't think it's as clear an advantage as some people might think to pick defense every
No.
time. It is easier just in general to defend a point where you can set your positioning and protect that positioning as opposed to trying to dislodge somebody from a fortified defense. But as an attacker, like you only have to essentially win 2.5 fights to take both points. So
Yeah,
defense
you
has to
really do.
win, let's say 4 or 5 fights to put up one hold. So I mean, there is some advantages there. Also, from a defense, you better have a good read because the attackers are free to just scout you and be like, "Oh, hey, let's just go counter that right back into spawn." You don't have that option on defense. So I mean, it's there's give and take on both sides. I would say there's give and take on both sides.
There is, and all we know for now, it's going to be the Amazon Fire Force on defense first versus the Wraithon RTX Rectifier starting on the attack. So far, defense looks to be coming out with a double bubble composition with the Ash of Spicy, for Taeyong on the Tracer, Impact on the Brigitte, and then Chicken Alley on the Ana. It's a bit of a different look than we've been seeing from them, especially in terms of DPS. But it can definitely work out. I mean, the Ash is a very strong hero when you have this choke point where you can just throw in the dynamite and do a lot of damage. But of course, you do have to contend with Napkin. Napkin coming out on the Widowmaker this time. Ash Napkin is truly dead for at least the time being. We'll see if they can find that value. They need to hit those headshots. It wasn't that successful on Havana third. They were defending, but on the attack, you can find those angles a lot easier most of the time.
And that's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw Anubis is Napkin can play these long-range hit scans, both on attack and defense. We'll see how long they stick with the Widow, whether they want to go back to the Ash. Wow. Taking down the Tracer once again. Beautiful headshot. One of the most difficult shots. Follows it up with a kill on the Spicy. Looks like the map pick working out well as Rectifiers are in prime position to win this on first fight and move on into point B, certainly with that kill on to Zephos.
Yeah, it's not looking good right now for the defense. Taeyong goes down straight away, and this is going to be a slaughter. Very quite simply put. Yeah, they took down Napkin eventually. It was like, yeah, but our Widowmaker already did her thing. She already got those 2 picks. That's all we need from her. And now they're just gonna clean up this one. Napkin's back on the trace. They might go back over to the Widowmaker or the McCree or something like that when they count this for points. They're not losing that much ult charge. And it's going to be the McCree instead. It's harder to find those angles on point B as Widowmaker. You kind of want to get into the fight, help disable the defense a little bit. And with that double barrier coming out as well, you don't want to have to fight against 2 shields when you are Widowmaker. Spicy back on the Mei. Taeyong now on the... Sorry, on the Sombra. Taeyong on the Mei. It's a bunker. They really are trying to just dig in and not let them get close. Or even if they get close, to slow them down as much as possible.
I mean, this is gonna be a tough ask, even for this bunker comp. I mean, I suspect the Rektifiers are just gonna speed in, or they're just gonna wait for you to charge. That was lucky to get out of there. No, it doesn't last long enough. Yeah, that charge was a bit ambitious, and the bunker just fell apart immediately as Venus Flytrap has a shatter off to dissuade anybody from even contesting.
This map pick advantage, this map pick like win is so strong. It looks like. Look at that, 4 minutes 56. It took them what is that?
2 minutes and 4 seconds.
3 minutes, 2 minutes 4 seconds. That's not a lot. 2 minutes and 4 seconds, guys. That's what you do not. I think the fastest I've seen on Anubis is 117, and that was. Really, I mean, that's really fast. That was with dive. This wasn't even with dive. This was just walking in with a brawl. So the fact that they took a little bit longer is mainly attributed to that, I feel like. But wow.
I mean, anytime your time bank goes up at the end, like on Temple of Anu, like you did something really good.
You did something really well. So we're gonna see if how their defense is set up, because I kind of imagine they're going for the exact same thing. And it doesn't look like, indeed, they're going to bring out the Junkrat. We haven't seen the hero yet tonight, but it makes a lot of sense to do. So, of course, the beautiful and famous scene of the J-Krat coming out to play, coming out to wreck your day. And I'm not at all surprised if V4 Taeyong is at least showing the Echo right now, because it was working fairly well for them on Numbani, more than fairly well, I'd say. But how are they going to get in here without getting completely blown to pieces by Draco and Napkin? That is my concern, because they don't have that many mitigation tools.
No, they don't.
There they go. The Mei.
Okay,
the Mei and the Rhine. Yeah, they're not doing it.
So we'll look for Draco just to try to prevent the ingress into the Mega Room. Here on this Junkrat. So much spam damage going down. Now, that might charge Zephos up really quickly, which could put some pressure on Smanid and Venus on the front line. So we'll see how successful Draco can be, or whether Zephos is going to emerge as a 100 charge Zarya.
Draco's playing conservatively there. I like that he was waiting a little bit and he wasn't just standing behind that room, because that might have been an overrun. But now he's with the team on the platform and they're ready to take down Taeyong.
Yeah, the spam damage eventually being too much as Napkin's able to get the final blow. That Fire Force does manage to emerge and claim a little bit of space on this center platform. So if they can kind of stabilize here, that's a good start. Leave Impact up there to keep up in Jape as they're trying to push forward. It's a kind of a slow, methodical push in, but now the Ant Matrix is out. Double damage there for Spicy to work with, and it's going to force a rotation as Fire Force fall back, but Polar Droid doesn't make that rotation. Can't get into the safety of the room. Draco sticks their nose out and gets burned down as Zephos is indeed found quite a bit of charge, but spotted and not to be outdone. Takes Spicy down, and that might be enough to give him the edge, certainly with V falling as well.
That was an interesting miss on that shatter. Just a little bit too high in the air was Chicken Alley. That was interesting, right? You see this choice happen a lot on Temple of Anubis, where if you are attacking point A and you get 1 or 2 picks, they eventually come back from spawn. And you have to always decide how many resources and how your positioning is to cut off those respawns when they come back in. This time around, they took so much effort to take those respawns out that they gave the opening for defense to come back out of those rooms next to the objective. This is a good defensive play. Gets stunned out of the high noon, but it's still enough, most likely, to win out this fight. Impact is out. That's all your healing gone, and they will not continue any further.
No, they will not. Chicken's going to go down. Spicy's going to go down. And back to that initial push, I was really expecting them just to move on to the point and take...
Yeah, but they didn't.
They did not. They split, and that indecisiveness cost them dearly. And now half their time's already gone. But they do have some ultimates to work with coming back in. In fact, 6 of them. They have the whole war chest, but they lost impact early, but they trade out. No Baptiste left on the battlefield, and Draco goes down. With the Deadeye coming out on top of the Blizzard, they just needed half the ultimates. They did throw the Graviton Surge in as well. In fact, I think the Graviton Surge was the difference maker.
Though.
But it will get them point A. I mean, Nakin's able to get a kill, but yeah, that's...
He got 2. Like, it was actually, I think, if there's like 1 or 2 more members there from the defense, maybe they could have done something. But they're already down a minute in terms of time bank. Probably going to be more by the time they finally cap it, if they do. So this is already a good defense starting out from Rektifiers, and they can make it even better by further draining down this time bank. Finally, the tire is online. This is Draco being able to shut down 1 push just in 1 go, but they need to force that immortality field. That keeps being the bane of their existence for both teams, to be fair.
See the sound barrier to start things off. Trying to get aggressive with it. Will it pay off? Venus goes down. Tire's going to pick up 1. Immortality field didn't cover Chicken, who is a little bit ahead of the pack. They're looking for the shot. Spicy can't quite land it. Gets 1, but oh, that's so... Finally, the flashbang comes out. They're able to take down the Junkrat. Follows it up with a nice shot onto Napkin for a little bit of redemption. But the supports show back up. They respawn, find the kills, and it's going to be enough to not allow any progress.
Venus just using the Shatter to finish off that fight. Already got 40% to the next one, so you see how worth that is for a Reinhardt. Just throw it out. And interestingly enough, NJape going over to the Winston here. It's not unheard of. And with the lack of like shutdown they have on the other side, aside from a flashbang, the double bubble strat is actually finding a lot of purchase, especially if you add the immortality field onto it. But it's still a risky strat. It doesn't promote sustain unless you have that primal rage or that sound barrier, which neither of them they have right now. This feels like a more long-term strat unless they find those kills with the Blizzard High Noon combo.
And especially with not having the Ana. Typically, you'd see the Ana to accompany this. But they're sticking with the Bap Lucio with the double bubble. They're going to get split up by the wall. Blizzard does come out from V. Buys some time. It doesn't really net any kills. Assassin's Deadeye kind of falls on deaf ears, but Draco does eventually go down. Ant Matrix now out, but the Graviton Surge is in there from the defense. And Rektifiers are doing their darndest to hold on here. They've lost Samanda, but they've managed to get Chicken. Now the Shatter coming through from the defense as well. Venus just getting him up so fast and just throwing him out with kind of reckless abandon, and his progress starts to come through. The tenacity of Fire Force on display right now, and they've already... there's the tick, and more progress.
Yeah, and they're going to try and touch last second. The Tracer is in, trying to go straight for the mate to get that 1 clip. Can someone else touch? The Lucio is on. Now they're back. They're getting back in full force. They waited just long enough to get people in, and no kills have gone through. This is where they can make their stand.
Yeah, Venus back in on the Wrecking Wall. So they're not going to have the Reinhardt there to shield them. As NJ drops down the Primal. Oh, that's a Reaper. You know what? He gets the Reaper. Nice. Bold move from NJ, but it pays off. It's a big gamble, and now the Ant Matrix is going to enable Spicy to pick up a pair of kills, at least that last one with the Deadeye. And they should get this cap. The thing is, well, the time is still getting eaten up. Okay, will eventually go through, but they're still at, I mean, almost 20%. You know, of the time set up by the opposition.
Yeah, they almost got something going because they got Chicken Alley out of there. And that Lucio can make a big difference not having that there, especially because Chicken Alley was getting closer to that sound barrier. But they needed more. They needed 1 or 2 more picks to really start pulling that fight back, and they just couldn't get it before a few of them went down. Unfortunate, but still, again, like I said before, 1 minute and 9 seconds on the clock. They have so much more time. And that first checkpoint took a little bit of time to get for the other side. So they could very well hold them on A with maybe a tick or 2 and then just steamroll over it themselves with 5 minutes on the clock. This is not unheard of. This is not something to worry about just yet for Rektifiers. If this is a double point cap, that becomes a different story. But if this plays out the same way as it did last time around, that is not a worry for them just yet.
It took Fire Force 3 minutes to cap point A the last time. It took Rektifiers 2 minutes to cap the whole thing. So Fire Force are going to have to play a lot quicker and a lot more decisive than they did on their original attack on point A. They'll be going up against, well, I mean, pretty much the same thing. We're not seeing any changes. Draco back onto that Junkrat.
Looking for NJ and Zifos to find an opening to actually dive in. They're going for the explosive dive. They really only have one good shot at this anyway, so that's why they're likely going for this. But Spicy already down. They dive in. Who can get the value? They don't get the cleave. This is a failed dive already. This sustained fight's gonna go into the favor of the defense. They have to wait for the respawn.
Yeah, no, they have to. We did get the swap from Zifos is on the Diva this time as opposed to the Zarya that we saw on the previous attack. But they didn't eat up all the spam damage. Like, the entire team didn't make it in, and they're continuing to take casualties.
Exactly, because the Diva makes sense, right? You want to, like, with the entire team, make one explosive run and just get it going. But Spicy goes down. They can't save everybody, and unfortunately that means with 20 seconds left they have nothing to work with. There's almost Dade on the other side. They still are fighting against the Junkrat. This is looking like it's already done, but they're gonna try anyways.
Leaping up, using the Coalescence. Oh, but the Flash Fan takes V out of the fight. Fire Force does manage to pick up one, picks up two, and the Primal Rage comes online. NJ able to get enough cleave to at least drop an ultimate, but it's not enough. 1,000 health gets burned down. The tire comes out to finish off Spicy. Then that is going to do it. The Zarya is just too charged. Chickenality?
It's not over. It's not over.
Lucio? All right. And the reinforcements have returned. V's back in this fight. Is able to pick up Polar Droid. It was a Pilot Demon and Lucio left on point. And Chickenality finds 2 kills, buys enough time for the Reaper to get back here. And that's going to be 3 points on the board. I don't believe my eyes, Classic.
It's the Anubis special. You go in with diving, you just throw bodies at it, because eventually your respawn advantage will outweigh it, and that's exactly what happened there. 20 seconds now to capture point B. They'll have a self-destruct, maybe a Death Blossom and a Sound Barrier. Meanwhile, there's plenty online for defense, including a Shatter and a Graviton. There's nothing you have against this. You need to eat something here, Zifos.
Oh man, that's a 3-man shatter with 10 seconds left. Sound Barrier out in the back to counter the Graviton Surge, and after the 2 tank ultimates, well, Fire Force are...
They can't get on.
Yeah, they're just kept off the points. Yeah.
They chose to go through the indoor. If you choose to go through that side, you need to be able to force your way in, and a dive composition like that is not able to force their way in without like a Primal Rage or maybe a zoning self-destruct. Neither of them could go off because of that shatter and the follow-up. So they had to try and get them to the point through another route. They didn't have that Reaper in a different position or the Sombra. Unfortunate, but still they got that first point, which was looking very unlikely. And now Rektifiers at least have to capture first and then take a second. It's not impossible. Like, we've seen them do more than that in, with less time. But, past results are no guarantee for the future. And there's likely going to be a different setup for the defense they have to get through. Let's see what other tricks they have up their sleeves when Taeyong goes over to the Torbjorn and NJ goes over to the Orisa.
Interesting. So, double shield, and I mean, nothing, they're not going to scatter. With this, it tells me that they're going to hunker down, pretty much all of them, maybe impact on the high ground behind them. But the rest of the 5 members are going to be on center platform and just try to deny that space. If Rektifiers stick with what they have, though, this comp might be the ticket to run this over. You've got a lot more damage coming out from Sman and Zarya, and you've got Draco on that Reaper.
Yeah, I'm going to be coming out of the gates again as Napkin this time not on that Widowmaker like he said. It was a very successful way to push it last time. This time they're going to try a more conventional method, not wanting to shoot into those double barriers once again. I mean, they have to wait for that shield to come back online, and Venus was already out, so they have to wait for that barrier to come back on, and now they're going to be attacking that.
It's a good read to not go with the Widow with the double shield coming through. And it's just going to be a fight through this point. Rektifiers do have that Mega to work with, but they got to be really careful. There's a lot of damage being poured through that small doorway. They do make it out, and they're able to close the gap, get Draco in position despite the lack of speed on their side. But the speed is on the other side, but Zifos doesn't make it all the way back. And teleport, the Shadow Step's just going to work around, circumvent the Ant Matrix. And now Draco is just waiting up on the high ground in the back line as Rektifiers are looking to close the gap, looking to tighten the grip on this point. Impact is able to pick up Draco, get him off the flank, and V is going to find a kill on a Gandhi as well. So that's 2 big tools now absent from Rektifiers on their attack.
It's going to be
Spotted is
impact.
still, yeah. Oh,
Out.
Zefos. Yep, Zefos is able to land the shatter and thwart it. And hold
It's
on.
respawn time. Now they're gonna keep pushing with these respawns. They know they have the numbers to come back quicker, so they should be able to do something here. They gotta be careful still. You just don't want to lose members now. They gotta do a very quick reset and then go in hard because they can't set up a full defense here.
That was a huge kill on Nagani. That just bought all the
so
time
big.
that Fire Force needed to get the full 6 back on this engage, or back on this objective.
It did get a tick, so there's at least something. But yeah, you wanted that first point straight away. They still have 3 minutes, plenty of time. But the lower that time bank gets, the sweatier the situation gets as well.
I mean, essentially, by the time they get back in here, it took them 2.5 minutes for their first fight. But there are some ultimates coming online. As Deadeye Zenyatta's Trance is the one I'm really looking out for. Ant Matrix out first from the defense. Fire, find one pick with that. Oh, that's a big pick. The Transcendent's no longer on the table. If I'm Rektifiers, I just back the heck out right now. They're going to go and try to invest the Deadeye, but that's no luck there. They're sticking around in this fight. V's going to throw down the lava, try to block the entrance, cover the stairs, and Rektifiers are just backing up as best as they can. Throwing the Immortality Field inside, but it's not enough to keep Napkin alive. Draco's super low as well.
Fire Force just going for the draw. They want to go for the win, and they're looking to do it well. 3-man. Oh, it's beautiful. And yes, they use a lot of ultimates there, so that is a good start, because that means Rektifiers will have a big advantage in the next one. But it's 145. Even if they kept this first point, they still want to get that first tick on second to win this map. Otherwise, it's a draw. And a draw is not what they wanted, because that means that it's still a 2-1 lead for Fire Force.
I mean, they got to break down this defense first.
Yeah.
Fire Force are looking to hold on. They're still staring down the barrel of a 5-minute time bank. And if they can hold on for just another $120, they're going to close out this series.
Draco over the Hanzo, probably going for that crossfire through main. No, he's with the team up top, but that's still a good long-range cover.
Supercharger out first. And V is able to pick off Gandhi. Oh my goodness, what a huge pick. Again, yes, indeed. And now they've got an Ant Matrix ready for him that's going to help build up the rest of these ultimates.
Flex God, V is ready for it. It's been hitting good shots with that Rivet gun. It's a hard one to master, but once you do it, that's what really the Torbjorn players will always tell you. That's the thing you need to do. If you want to learn Torbjorn, learn the gun.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Get those headshots very impressive and on such a priority pick to boot. Okay, rotating around.
That might have been an accident, but still, you know, the right angle. It's all you need.
Hey, you take those. You take those.
You take them. You take them for sure.
Graviton Surge at the ready. They got to get the Immortality Field out of the way. Ant Matrix down. Graviton Surge is out. The Ant Matrix is, the Immortality is there as well as the Ant Matrix. But the Shatter to follow it up from Venus will be enough. There was nothing left in the bank to defend against the massive Shatter coming through, and just in the nick of time.
Do we get a draw and potentially our map 6 tonight? Because we're going to get map 5 first, of course, but that could like do 2 map 6. Or are we going to go to a 2-2 and a decisive map 5? We don't know just yet. We'll know soon enough. 18 seconds in the bank. The ultimates are close for both teams, a few of them. Still in the advantage of Rektifiers, I feel like, but that Shatter could change everything from Zifos if he hits a good one.
One chance. DPS ult's ready, and Venus is down immediately. Big Holt in the back, and Spicy takes full advantage. Dragon's over the point. Coalescence out as well as the Shatter comes through from Zefos, and V is able to take advantage. Huge plays from the defense. Beautiful halts, beautiful ult usage, and that's a draw on Hanamura. We're headed to map 5. The Fire Force still with a 2-1 lead.
Zifos has really been the clutch hero of this map so far. Just good shatters, good comebacks, good like returns to the fights, and then like carrying them back. It's been so good to see. We're gonna get this triple kill High Nunes to play the game, which is fair because, you know, you get a lot of kills, a lot of damage straight away, and the follow up on the Draco. But Zifos really made a few good plays. Even that last shatter that Zifos did was looking around. You have the shatter ready. He was like, I know we can shatter anybody because we got their Reinhardt. who am I gonna go for? Chose to go for that coalescing Moira. As like, if we get her out of the way, we for sure have a good close out of this fight. And it worked out that way. Very well done, very nicely played. And I'm looking forward to this next map because it could be the last one, Bull Skunk. Gonna go back to control. It's still the pick for Rectifiers, but the last time around they lost control. So we'll see if they can maybe gain control this time.
Yes, indeed. We're going to take a very short break. Give our teams a moment to decide. Y'all go hydrate. We'll see you back here for map 5. We're headed into map 5. Fire Force still up 2-1 after that draw on Temple of Anubis. Looking to close things out and claim the lone spot as the undefeated team here in the CEA Spring tournament. Well, and they're sticking with that double shield. We had discussed this while we were on break. I was like, man, Control Center would be a great spot for this Orisa Reinhardt. They're even bringing out the Sim Junkrat. It's kind of an OG strat for Control Center.
They're really pulling out all the cheese stops. It's great. You know, as a Dutchman, I approve of this. It's definitely a lot of flavor. We're going to be seeing what they're going to pull out, though, Bull Skunk, because Draco is also coming out on the Junkrat. He's already played it, but Fever Taeyong has been showing so much flexibility today, and they do arrive there first with the symmetric turrets, too. This is going to be a tough one to enter now that it's all been set up.
Yeah, it's going to force Rektifiers to rotate around. Which just could make them sitting ducks from the other side. But at the very least, they'll get out of that tight corridor. They don't have to worry about the Sim turrets as much as they're trying to get the spam damage down and get that opening pick. Looks like Smonid is fairly charged up there for Rektifiers, trying to burn through the shields. So the Immortality Field kept Fire Force alive while the shields were recharging, and now they're ready to keep putting the pressure down. And Rektifiers just struggling to find room to work. Finally get through as both Reinhardts fall. An early Amp Matrix gives a good advantage to Fire Force. And it looks like they may take it. It's 2v2. No! It's Pulling Droid and Napkin, the difference makers in that fight.
It's great. Honestly, that's great recognition from Rektifiers coming out there, because they saw that Junkrat and maybe they heard the Sim turrets and like, we're not going to fight up there. We're going to go to the point, make them come to us, and not give them that bunker that they so desperately want. And that's exactly what what worked for them. Play the objective.
Now there's a clear shatter advantage, but unfortunately doesn't quite find what it's looking for. Tire coming out from Rektifiers. Nice. Takes down the counterpart Junkrat. And with Smonid charged up, they're able to rule the front line and maintain control.
Going for that close hold of this course you want to do. And again, the less space you give this composition that works around that symmetric Junkrat, the better. The more you make them force through a choke point rather than yourselves being forced at, that's what you need.
Oh, Spicy second guessing, and the photon barrier cost them their life as the tire from Fire Force is blocked by the Immortality. They managed to take down Smonid, which is a huge pick. They were very charged, and you can see the quick retreat from Rektifiers with the Zarya out of the fight. Oh, did they draw him in? Was it a sense of false confidence coming through, trying to lull them into the Amp Matrix? Well, Zephos doesn't care. They're just going to charge right in, find the pick, and continue to press the issue, continue to press forward. The Supercharger in the Amp Matrix was enough to overcome for Fire Force.
Zephos has been such a standout player in these last few maps. Like before that as well, but especially now because of the way they've been playing that Reinhardt and the switch up that they have been making that Dune. It's amazing.
Looking at another tire coming in from Draco. Found good value out of the first one. And here comes the second. It is unleashed. It gets taken out. V immediately gets it, but Napkin finds the kill as Rektifiers press out onto the point and start sowing some chaos, and Napkin reaping the benefits. Nice shatter there to close it out.
We're looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do with that Deadeye, because it's not a huge space. They could just draw them in. They could draw them in, like spread them out a little bit, and then use that Deadeye. But then again, if you see all the utility there is against the Deadeye, it might just be the shield break, and that's fine. Shield break can be super valuable too if it's instant.
Yep, I mean, particularly against all this shield. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You take that. I mean, Deadeye's not a high value ultimate typically. Oh, shatter coming through, followed by the tire that finds 4. What a play from V. Perfectly placed. The shatter got out all the cooldowns. The tire knocked them all away.
They cannot hold close though, because Napkin got too much value with both the Deadeye and the follow-up after that. So they still lost too many players. They have to back up a little bit. Only the Reinhardt's really there with the Junkrat. That's a bit of pressure, but that doesn't help you just hold that choke. They have to wait for their team to respawn, and it gives so much space to Rektifiers here.
Yeah, who are even claiming White Room as Napkin is continuing to lay fire across and not allow V to just do what they please from the top of that big stairwell. Photon Barrier did buy a little time for the Supercharger to come out, and now Fire Force are getting aggressive. 1 kill already for him. Venus backing up, looking for a place to drop this Shatter. Was hoping that they were going to come in close, I think, but don't think Fire Force was going to take that bait. They're just going to sit behind center pillar and wait for Rektifiers to come to them. Venus is going to push back, look for the Shatter. No! The Risa shield comes up in the back. Tire coming through is going to get dismantled. The Deadeye, though, that finds 3. Oh, man, Fire Force weathered 1 ult, weathered the 2nd ult, and Napkin comes through with the 3rd. 3rd time's a charm. 5 kills for Napkin.
It was even 4. They had the Shatter, then the Grav, the Tire, and then finally they were out of Immortality Field, Sound Barrier, shields. Everything was finally gone. That was exactly what they needed, but they needed a lot to do it, and that just shows you that if you don't have that last fight territory, you have to waste so many ultimates, well, use so many ultimates to get a fight win against the bunker sometimes. It's a tough one to break through, but they did it. They're up 1-0. They could pull this to a 2-2 and a map 6. It's very possible. It's I'm excited for it. I'm all good for it. It's amazing. But Amazon Fire Force not out of it just yet. One more round and maybe another round, and they could still make it a 3-1.
Both teams are gonna teleport through the window.
To the wall.
It's gonna be up to Smotted to get a lot of damage down early.
Fire strike.
Yeah, just take out some sim turrets, and Spicy is gonna fall. I mean, there's a lot of damage. If Fire Force managed to win this opening fight, they'll be able to hunker down. But there was just so much damage on the other side, and made winning that first fight extraordinarily difficult.
An amazing Fire Strike coming through early, and then that kill on the Spicy. That's all they needed, really. They're going to be able to hold up close. They have a Shatter coming up, a Deadeye close. You see NJ immediately switching back over to that Zarya. Doesn't want to stay with Orisa because they have to attack this, not defend this. The Symmetra's also out, so it's Draco. Yeah, the ult difference is huge. Of course it is, because they have to switch up heroes.
Well, I mean, just Venus to Zephos. Like,
that also, yeah.
I mean, like, holy
That's Fire
hell.
Strike value. That's all Fire Strike value as well.
Shatter, though, it doesn't find any value. Speaking of, so that ult advantage did not net them anything. With the Ant Matrix out from the defense, there wouldn't have been any follow-up, if at all. Spicy is able to find a pair of kills, and Fire Force trying to push in. The counter is there. It is 2 kills down from both sides, but Rektifiers are missing both tanks. So they're going to play around corners, really play it safe, and they just can't find the kills doing such. They get pounced upon, and Fire Force flip it.
Fire Force managed to get in there. 43% gain, though. It's a good lead, good start, at least. Especially with the way they played it out. They had to use a lot of ultimates for not winning a fight, though. And now they're going to be at a disadvantage for at least 1, maybe 2 more of those. It's not amazing, but that Sound Barrier and that Graviton can sometimes make such a difference that an ult advantage is nothing.
It's going to be, have to decide how they want to use the Sound Barrier, or they just get walled off and don't get to use it at all. That's pretty much a free fight win. Draco swapped over to the Reaper and snuck around back. It'll pull some pressure off the door. And a kill on the impact. Okay, so Polar Droid will help the 2 missing members get back in the fight quickly, but if Venus can't stay alive, it's not going to matter. They even invest the Sound Barrier as well as their own Graviton Surge. Everything in the kitchen sink thrown in from Fire Force. I guess they'll hold on to their own Graviton Surge as well, as this fight has devolved out, and Napkin is still around, still a threat. Venus Flytrap is going to return to battle and able to pick up one. Napkin picks up another, and that, what a comeback from Rektifiers. They pulled themselves up by their bootstraps on that one.
Very nicely done, and now they're in the ultimate advantage seed. Like I said, you know, that Sound Barrier and Graviton sometimes make all the difference. Draco back on the Reaper also doing work, and this is a tough one to push back into for Fire Force, but now they have that Sound Barrier. It's the only thing they have, but they can't just win them the fight.
Just charging in, Napkin responds with the Deadeye, able to take Chickenality out of the back, who was holding that Sound Barrier. It's Apparently, if you have sound barrier, you're just gonna die right now. Is kind of what I'm learning. Is Wall is keeping Venus Flytrap from running away, but they have double damage courtesy of Gandhi, and they're taking full advantage. 2 kills apiece for both Napkin and Gandhi, and now we're approaching last chance for a Fire Force on this map.
Yeah, one more try is what they get. They will still have that sound barrier that they didn't get to use last time around, but now Polar Droid will also have one fairly quickly. Death Blossom is ready. They need to win this in order to win the series, otherwise it's just a draw. We go to map 6.
Zico's down early right out of the gate. Sound barrier is used as well as that Ant Matrix. If Rektifiers can weather this, they got a big shot at winning it. Now, they do lose the Reaper, but they find the rest of the kills. They survive the initial support ultimates, and they take Lijiang Tower in 2. We are headed to map 6 in this just powerhouse juggernaut beatdown brawl.
Look, we're not used to this, Bullskunk, at the CEA. We're not used to these close matches 2 in a night, so you picked a good one to join us. We're going to be seeing what Napkin gets out of this. This is that one where they use like 4 ultimates and then the Deadeye came out. Beautifully lined out. The shields are in the wrong place, and that's exactly what they end up winning with. Napkin showing up tonight. A lot of players are showing up. It's not just one. They're truly units working together, getting the value together. And map 6 is going to bring out the best in both of them, I'm fairly sure. This is going to be the map choice, I'm fairly certain, for Amazon Fire Force.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna see what's gonna happen with this. I don't think we've had a map 6 before, so I actually need to check what the verdict is on what we do. Because of course we've run out of regular quote unquote maps that we do in order. Might just go to another control, might go to something else. I truly am a little bit lost here.
Well, Napkin had 68% kill participation there in that last match, just to go show you how much impact. And that's not like a tracer just kind of putting in a little damage or finishing off low health targets. That's a McCree like laying down massive amounts of fire. We also, that's what a performance. They're gonna need that to continue. It looks like we are sticking with Control Classic.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. You know, they're not gonna go for maps that they could potentially draw. Could have maybe gone to Escort, but it's gonna be Ilios, Ruins, and Lighthouse. Maybe we'll see all 3 of them. Maybe only see 2 of them, and then it can matter a lot which ones we see. It's actually funny because we always call Ruins Widowmaker's playground, but I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. As much as I would like it to be, we do see how quickly Widowmaker can be both dodged and shut down on a map like that. It's just too easy, and we'll get another swap. Panda Logic back in, Impact out. Probably has to do something with their hero pool. I can get that. I can get behind that. What it does tell me is that they're likely going to go maybe for an Ana setup, because that's what Panda really likes to play.
So that would also indicate that we'll probably get the Winston and perhaps the double bubble out if you're wanting to run the Ana, which makes sense. I mean, that's good composition here. I mean, a lot of high ground to work with on pretty much all of the maps. You've got some high ground that you could utilize and do your bounce back and forth. Get a lot of cleave. I mean, on Ruins, you can sit up and cleave down at multiple spots. Same could be said for Lighthouse and Well.
I'm calling it the Echo. I think Fever Taeyong might go back on the Echo. That could be a thing that can happen. It's and then that makes sense that it might go for a Mercy again, for instance, for Chicken Alley or Panda. I like either of them.
Yeah.
I'm all good to go into it. I'm ready for it. Give us the gameplay. Give us that final map of the night, final map of this series. Who gets to call themselves the current #1 of the CEA Swiss stage, the CEA standings for Overwatch for the spring split of 2021. That's what this map in particular will decide. It might change again in a week or 2, but for now, the #1 will be decided in this round.
Well, and we're a little bit over halfway through, kind of depending on the
this
math.
is the halfway point, roughly. Yeah.
So I mean, it's a priority time.
It's a very nice time to be alive and to be playing Overwatch.
It's a nice time to be #1.
It.
It is a nice time to be alive and play Overwatch. I agree with you 100%, Classy. I agree with you 100%.
I mean, when has it not been? Like even during the darkest days where they were still bright, because Overwatch is that wonderful game that we all love. But Fire Force.
Fortunately, 2020 is behind us.
I mean, hey, Fire Force and Rectifiers are bringing us their A game, and they're showing us beautiful gameplay. We're going to be seeing how much more of that they can bring us on Ilios. Will it be 2 rounds? Will it be 3 rounds? Will they somehow get another draw so we can go to a map 7? We don't know. The only way we can know for sure is by going into the game and actually playing this wonderful map of Ilios based on the Greek island city of Santorini. It's beautiful. I haven't been there, but Greece in general is a pretty cool country. Not gonna lie.
I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to go. I hear
Yeah.
it actually looks just like this. Like that's as far as the white
Santorini
buildings.
really does, yeah.
Yeah.
Not everywhere, but like where it's based on, it really looks exactly like this. Little less like the metal modern structures, but it definitely
Sure.
looks a lot like this. If you see the pictures, you know why this looks like it does. It's really fun.
Well, it looks like a beautiful place, but you know what? It's about to get ugly. It's about to get
Yeah.
ugly on this point, as our teams
Mhm.
are going to come out brawling. I anticipate
This is
something a little different here.
No, I mean it's always ugly on this point because they had that huge well that no one wants to just put safety like railings around. Like they just say, "Oh, you know what? Everyone can fall in." I'm sure they have some complaints from the citizens as well, but maybe we'll get some clarity on that someday. For now, I mean, indeed seeing different stuff coming out from both teams, different compositions. N-Shape and Ziphos on that Winston Diva, and N-Shape has been great on that Winston. Don't get me wrong, Ziphos on that Diva too. It's going to be a very different lineup. And all of that is really going to be the question is, can they somehow force environmental kills? Can they force rotations? Can they force a sort of chase battle where they control the objective and keep towing on it? Or will they just lose a straight up engage because of that brawl?
Yeah, the Reinhardt's going to be a bigger presence up front. Well, and so there goes your presence. There goes your Reinhardt. But, you know, Winston is out too. The main tanks have been the focus of both teams all day long, and neither of them are in the battle. So now it's Zarya versus the Diva there on the front line. Fire Force is just going to loop around to the objective. Rektifiers is going to go headlong to meet them. They're just charging right at it, trying to catch this rotation, playing tit for tat or around the cage. Dance of the cage, as both teams seem to be just kind of stalling, honestly, for a little bit. As Jake finally does return, that jump is going to get them into that fight a little bit quicker and going to allow them to push forward and control some point presence. Nice manual down, but the Deadeye comes through from Napkin. Oh, man, it is able to find two with that. NJ falls, and Rektifiers will get first control.
Well, that's the thing, right? You need your ultimates when you're that more dive style hybrid. When you're on the side of Fire Force, you need those ultimates to get value, right? But while you're trying to get your ultimates, so are they, and you don't have the same sustain and counter tools that are available to assist to that brawly team on the other side. They have shields, they have sound barrier, mortality field. They have so much against your ultimates, so that Deadeye is way freer and gets way quicker value than anything you do.
But there is an EMP Death Blossom at the ready. Could even EMP bomb if they want to wait for it. But I anticipate Spicy's going to do just that. 4-man EMP right out of the game, but it doesn't get Polar Droid. Sound barrier is up, and no casualties as a result of that EMP. Death Blossom comes through, but this one is from Draco. V had tried to drop theirs, but got killed right on out of it. Napkin cleans up with a 3K.
Napkin able to once again find the value. They have been getting so much. I mean, it said they had an amazing amount of kill participation in the last map. I'm sure it will show no different on the end card if we'd end right now. But 47% and counting. The ultimates are online. What are they going to do with the tank ultimates on the side of Fire Force? They're going to try and jump this McCree, but he's being peeled for very well.
And drops his second Deadeye, this one finding both support. That's 2 Deadeyes in about 90 seconds that have come out from Napkin. And it just is about the supports. Fire Force just don't stand a chance.
You thought you had him, but they had too much against it. You can't just dive a target anymore in 2021. That's not how dive functions. You need to draw those resources and then go. You need to fake those dives. And now they've just accepted their fate, and they're just not going to win this point anymore. Ziphos still has a self-destruct that can find value, but they don't even have an EMP ready yet.
No, but they're going to go ahead and launch the self-destruct, and nice, because there's no shield, now there's no DPS left standing for Rektifiers. Manual hack on to Gandhi, who's just going to get burned down, and the flip will come through.
They win 1 fight out of, like, 4. It's not enough. Like, they need to keep winning fights now. Of course, they start having some ultimates online now, especially the EMP and that sound barrier. Very impactful. But there's still so much shutdown potential. You can just stun the Lucio out of his sound barrier, stun the Moira out of her coalescence, make sure the Reaper doesn't get a Death Blossom off. You could even stun the Sombra out of her EMP. I think that's less likely, but it's still possible.
Oh, that's a 6-man EMP, and the Coalescence is going to burn him down. Those health bars just evaporated like an ice cube sitting in the sun. Oh, that was gorgeous.
At least they're not taking a risk. At least they're not being like, okay, we need to drain as much time as possible, so let them come in, let them feel safe, and then after like 10 seconds, we actually initiate and kill them all. Because that, I mean, it gives you almost 10% extra, but is it worth it if you might lose the fight? They say no. Gonna have be ready for the Death Blossom play this time around, potentially with the Sound Barrier and the Primal Rage. That Graviton doesn't get anybody, but forces some resources.
Yeah, got Sound Barrier out. As both Death Blossoms are unleashed on the point. And, well, Fire Force can come out on top. They had the earlier Sound Barrier, and still they managed to survive the Hellfire shotguns of Spinning Death. They're able to get Venus as well. I mean, not without suffering their own casualties, but they've done enough with Smotted hacked up. That's they're going to keep control. Now we're really approaching final fight.
And their cycle was actually working out. Spicy almost back to another EMP. They actually got their ult cycle going. Because that's the worry you have. If it takes you so long to get on the EMP, are you going to get that second one that you need to keep this lead up and to actually win the points? And Spicy might be able to do it.
Yep, 78% stalking in the backline right now. Napkin's already had 2 massive Deadeyes. Gets manual hacked, but the Immortality Field keeping them alive. And Matrix up 4 Rectifiers as well, but they still are suffering casualties. It's a +1, +2. They're in a Fire Force in this final moment on well, and they are going to take it in an early lead here in our map 6.
Map 6, first point down. Fire Force takes it out. And when you look at the way all these maps are going, this is the easiest one to keep rotating away from your enemy. This is the easiest one to outdive them, really. That's not going to be as easy on Ruins. It's not going to be as easy on Lighthouse. So this dive style that they're running, while it can still work, it's not going to be the same as it was on that previous map. But they're going for it. They're going for the mirror. They're going for the dive themselves. It's not a mirror. They're running the Wrecking Ball dive versus the Diva dive. And the DPS are slightly different, but we'll see. I mean, Gandhi and Polydroid on that backline, sort of, they both sustain each other with the Sleep Dart, the Bash, the healing. Then Napkin, just as a free agent, running around in the backline, making sure they can hit those shots. They take an interesting opening angle. Doesn't quite see anybody to hit, but will be ready for that sniper. No duel. Still no sniper on the other side.
Well, Napkin's just going to position way far away. And actually drops down low, which I'm a little bit surprised of. I mean, if NJ catches wind of this, they're just going to pounce on Napkin. Now, the question is, can Rektifiers run over the front line while the distraction is there, while NJ is out of the fight? Looks like Rektifiers kind of looping around to the left-hand side of the point, while all our Fire Force went over the bridge and now have dropped down onto the objective and actually managed to pick up first control for free. They're going to burn down Smotted on the approach. In fact, V is able to get 2 very important kills. And that's an easy first fight win, despite Napkin getting that late pick.
I mean, you see how easy it is to dodge that Widowmaker sightline. They were out there for a long time, and Napkin really tried to get in there, really tried to find a shot. He just couldn't get it. He's going to switch over to the Tracer as a result, because you just know you will not get the value that you want out of that Widowmaker. If you get that one pick after, well, 30 seconds, basically, maybe more, then yeah, you kind of need to go. So they are now back over to the Tracer. Spicy is looking for more angles, already 70% up to that EMP. Way better start than last round.
I like this Tracer pick. You're able to engage with the Wrecking Ball, but the Wrecking Ball is hacked right out of the gate. Spotted goes down. Coalescence invested in from Fire Force. And another strong start to this fight. Another decisive engagement win.
They are starting to get some ultimates up, but Smon and Venus, they just swap over. They don't want to take this dive matchup. Now they give up all the ult charge they had accrued. And they really need to have a good fight now. Even if they lose it, they need to build up some ultimates and drag out a lot from the other side, because otherwise Fire Force is going to have an easy win here. No doubt about it. And that will just be a 6th map that kind of goes out in the, I don't know, in a sizzle.
Yeah, I mean, well, the EMPs to start off the fight there, and there's just nothing to defend against it. The immortality fields are taken care of. That did soften the blow, but the Death Blossom did so much damage, the healers are struggling to try to keep up. Now, good news for Rektifiers is they're able to pick off the Sombra, but then the Primal Rage comes through and is going to finish off what Spicy had started. Panda even able to get in the action.
Was a decent fight that drew out some ultimates, but then the other half is still online. There's
5%.
so many tools available. 3% to go. Someone will be able to touch this Draco. He has the Death Blossom ready. Wants to stay alive to be able to use it potentially, but will go down. This is going to be the last fight. It looks like.
And quick 2 kills. Yeah, self-destruct thrown over the top. And Fire Force, they got angry. They were mad. They're dropping the Coalescence to find a pair of kills at the end. They're going to close it out. Swiftly and decisively taking Ilios and taking our 6-map series. They will stay undefeated in the CEA. Rektifiers falling to 4-1.
Definitely the better dive team of the two, as you could clearly see in those last few maps. It was close, but just not close enough. That Anubis map is really where Rektifiers probably lost it. If they had won that Anubis map and then had been able to go over to Lijiang or to Ilios, maybe they would have still gone over to Ilios and lost, but at least they would have gotten that second map on the board. Instead, we end on a map 6 with a 3-2 scoreline for Amazon Fire Force. What a series! It was a long run for us, but I'm happy that I was here, Bullskunk.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Appreciate I appreciate CA for putting this on and y'all having me in.
We're not done yet, though.
No. We still got interviews. I know.
Exactly.
We still got some interviews. Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't wait to hear from.
Something to look forward to.
I can't wait to hear from our players.
Yeah,
we can take a minute here and get set up.
I think we're gonna get reps from both teams as well, so that's super exciting. Let's see what the rivalry is like in chat.
Nice.
But yeah, we'll see you after a little bit of a break. Don't go anywhere because you will hear from both the teams, so both Amazon Fire Force as well as Raytheon RTX Rektifiers. See you a little bit.
We are back, and we've got a couple people here joining us. We've got NJ from Fire Force, the tank player from there. We've also got Napkin, DPS extraordinaire from Rektifiers. Thank you both for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I guess my opening question I'll pose to both of you. NJ, we'll start with you. Congratulations on the W, but a tight series. I mean, a map 6, for goodness sakes. First time, I mean, both y'all undefeated coming in, top of the leaderboards for both parties involved. Tell me something that you took away from this series that you're going to carry with you through the rest of the tournament. What's something that you learned and you're like, okay, we're making this change coming from here on out?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're pretty unused to being pushed this far for maps. Don't appreciate having to play for this long. Usually, we prefer the 3-0s on my team, and we kind of have a standard and a culture of winning. So happy that we got the W here today. There's some rotations and stuff like that we can clean up. Definitely learn some things like compositionally and how to play different maps. But yeah, map 6 pretty tough. But happy we got the win here today.
And then Napkin, the same question. A tough loss, no doubt. I mean, you played your heart out. That was obvious. Left it all on the battlefield. What are your thoughts? What's something you took with you after this very tightly contested series?
Yeah, it was a really fun match. I kind of like playing the close matches like this rather than either like 3-0 teams and things like that. But I think we really need to work on our coordination playing against the Sombra. That was kind of tough for us. We don't really see that very often. So that's something we'll need to work on. Yeah, it was a really fun match.
Yeah, man, we all enjoyed it. We had a blast. We enjoyed it as much as you did, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was so much going on that game. Like, I don't even know what to get back to. Honestly, there were so many moments that were just amazing to see. But I mean, obviously, you guys both came in this undefeated still. I don't know how much like you were expecting from this game because obviously, like you said, Fire Force, you're not used to being pushed at all. You're not used to like having to have a close game. Were you expecting that at all coming in today?
Yeah, I mean, I know we got the win. This kind of sounds weird, but a bit disappointed that it was as hard as it was. But I think we take the regular season a lot as like as sort of just like a practice for playoffs. I think we already had our playoff spot locked, and we just learn a lot of important things through these matches. And I think when you have long sets like this and you're pushed, you're forced to really reach into your bag of tricks to figure out how we're going to squeeze out the W. So disappointed in some ways that it was as close as it was, but also thankful and happy that they were able to push us because that's really how you learn and get better, I guess. So yeah, appreciate that.
Makes sense. I mean, same question for you, of course, Napkin. Other way around. Were you expecting anything like this, or like what was it like going into that?
I kind of expected it was going to be a pretty close match. I knew it seemed like we compete pretty well against. I mean, we played well against Office last week, and I know we can give any team a run for their money in the league here. So yeah.
I'd say you heard it here first, but yeah, those are very understandable answers. Yeah, of course, RTX. You're in this now. You did get some higher finishes in previous seasons, but replacing a few players. In general, has that been like a big transition period of like getting new players in and getting them up to the ropes, or has it been a very easy transition?
I think it's been a pretty easy transition for us. I think we've been improving every season. This is the third season I think I've played with Raytheon, and yeah, the new players are great. They one of them actually like has a lot of like competitive experience, which is really helpful because we've never really had that on our teams in the past. So it's good to have that.
Okay. And of course, Fire Force trying to get that first place after so many seasons of getting second. Is it going to happen this time? Is this going to be the one?
Yeah, this is the season, man. Listen, pretty tired of getting second place. We're all pretty salty about it. This is round 3, salty run back number 3. And we're gonna get it this time, I promise. I told Pulse already we're gonna win. So Yeah,
Yeah,
it's scripted. I already
cool,
talked to
yeah.
Paul. Told us to.
No,
do
that's
so.
fine. We'll transfer the money to the charity already. That's fine. I'll get the paperwork started. That's cool.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us a little bit about the charities that you're playing for and why they're important to you? NJ, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so my team is playing for, again, National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI. They're a grassroots organization focused on mental health and sort of destigmatizing mental health issues and helping out families and people affected by mental health problems. I think it's a big problem in the gaming space. A lot of people have issues like this. I've had a bunch of friends personally affected by stuff like this. So it's something that we're a cause that we're really passionate for, our team, and we're happy to continue supporting NAMI again for another season of CEA.
Very admirable. Very admirable. How about yourself over there, Napkin?
Yeah, our charity is Math Counts. They hold like math competitions for middle school age kids, and since we're like a team full of engineers and a company based off of engineering, it's good to support an organization that pushes STEM towards younger kids and gets them excited about the STEM field and going into the future with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I've got family of math teachers and accountants, so I identify with that. That's really cool. That's very very honorable for you both. You'll love to see it. That just warms my heart.
Yeah, and as a tradition, what we like to do is we like to give you both the opportunity to shout out whoever you want to shout out. So let's start with you, NJ. What who do you really have to thank for this win, or who do you want to just give a shout out to in general?
Yeah, I've want to give a big thank you to Zephos and Zephos's mom. She prepared me really well for this match. Cooked me some nice meals. That was really cool. And then also, I got one more thing to say. I heard earlier in the interviews, Google from the previous match talking about how they're the best team in this tournament. I don't know about that, buddy. You guys have one L already. Haven't been in the finals since I've been in this tournament, so we'll see about that one. But yeah, waiting for a team to finally take a game off of us. Patiently waiting.
Spicy shout out. I like the juice.
Like the juice. And what about you, Napkin? Any special names you want to shout out, or any things?
Shout out to my teammates. Played hard today. Shout out to Husker, as always. Gotta shout out Husker. He was a player on a team a few seasons back. That's it.
Gotta do the throwbacks. I get it. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It was a blast to watch it after 11 maps of Overwatch. I know we're fried, but still excited. Keeps being a beautiful game to be part of, and you guys playing gives us something to do at weekends. So thank you very much for doing that for us.
Yeah, love this tournament. Have a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the broadcast and the organization.
Cool.
Really appreciate it. Love CA, dude.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good to hear.
Good to hear that. Thank y'all for the fire match. Oof. Hey, we had a pair of fire matches today, Classy. My goodness. Oh, man. We saw G9 Lowell with a 3-2 victory in 5. Fire Force with a 3-2 victory in 6. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. I feel just blessed to be a part of this, man. Holy cow.
It's amazing. And if anyone, I know we're wrapping up the broadcast here, and it was an amazing one. And I know you might be tired of seeing this much Overwatch, but if any of you still want to see some amazing gameplay, there is right now a beautiful event hosted by the Florida Mayhem. They're going into their grand finals, American Tornado versus Odyssey. So you can just go over to their Twitch channel. Instead of that, we're going to call it a night here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the CEA, and thank you for playing in it or being a part of it in any way, shape, or form. I've been Men of Class together with Bullskunk tonight. Probably next week we'll have Big Hungry Phil back. I know it's a bit weird. My hair is different, my beard's different, and then you have Bullskunk next to me. But don't worry, we'll be back with the CEA, and it will maybe be back to its regular self. But it's always a fun party. We'll never know what we're getting, but all we know is we're getting more of it. See you guys next week.